This is a higgity feast. There's plenty of this, and this, and these as well. We top it like this, and bake it like that. Higgity. Baked generously. This is a higgity feast. There's plenty of this, and this, and these as well. We top it like this, and bake it like that. Higgity. Baked generously.
Welcome to Hove for the latest instalment of T20 Cricket. I'm Adrian Harms, delighted to be joined in the commentary box this afternoon by Andrew Raeburn. Andrew, good afternoon to you.
Good afternoon, Harms. A lovely day again here at Hove.
It is a beautiful day. Just checking we're going out live on the stream, making sure we get the heads up from everybody who's operating the stream here and also from those listening around the ground. If you have got a headset on and you're listening in, maybe give us a wave. There we are, a couple of hats waving at the back of the Spencarma Pavilion. Looks a good crowd here, Andrew. You do wonder whether, when it's a lovely sunny afternoon, whether you're going to get a good crowd here at Hove or whether people will find other things to do. But the good news is there's a good crowd in. It's a glorious afternoon, and Sussex looking to bounce back from a really disappointing defeat last night down at the Gears Bowl. Paul Farbrae said to me after the game that he felt it was really important for Sussex to get on and play today and put last night behind them. And it does happen in T20 cricket. But there are changes for Sussex tonight. No George Garton in the side. He's been left out of the side, together with Ari Carvelos, who's not in the side either. The other change is Dan Ibrahim is not in the side. So 3 changes. Nathan McAndrew back in the Sussex lineup. He's recovered from his concussion protocol. So good news as far as Nathan McAndrew is concerned. Tamal Mills, who missed out last night, he's back in the side as well. So good to see Nathan back in, and Tamal, and Ravi Bopara, who missed the game yesterday because he was stuck on the motorway. A horrible accident on the M27. I just managed to avoid it, actually, courtesy of a very good app that I use for getting around the country, and that sort of saved my bacon a bit, really, because I could have been late as well. However, Bopara is back in the side. So Sussex with just 1 win out of 4, Glamorgan 3 wins out of 4. It goes without saying, Andrew, last year Hampshire got into the semi-finals just winning 9 of their 14 matches. I think that was a slightly unusual season, but you're going to need to win 8 on that basis. Sussex can't afford to lose too many more matches in this competition.
No, obviously with 1 win out of 4 so far, it leaves you with just 10 matches and not many places to go to, really, in terms of your margin for error. So on that basis, you're probably looking at 7 wins out of 10 to just sneak in, and that's of course making you dependent on other results. So yeah, it's certainly before you think even about qualification and anything like that, Sussex first want to turn in a more positive performance with the bat after the last 2 matches, which I mean, certainly I was on commentary for the Essex match on Thursday, where it has to be said that the batting did let itself down in that run chase, and then of course they lost 4 wickets in the first 3 overs, and yesterday of course you know, they were well short of what was you know, you're looking at that pitch at I know you were there, Adrian. I mean, you'd have looked at that pitch and thought 180, 190 minimum, really.
Yes, definitely. And Paul Farbrae said last night it was a very good pitch. A very different tone of interview from Paul Farbrae last night. He was very scathing of the players on Thursday night after that defeat against Essex. You conducted that interview. Last night, Paul was saying, you know, it's time for us all to pull together. It wasn't a time last night for rollickings. It was, you know, these things happen in T20 cricket, but he said, you know, we don't want to make losing a habit. But by the same token, it wasn't the right time last night to get stuck into the players. So we'll see what sort of response we get from Sussex today. But it has to be said that Sussex are going to need, they've got a really busy week. They've got this game today, then up to Chelmsford on Tuesday. That's never easy at Chelmsford. A trip to Lords on Thursday. Middlesex have lost 5 out of 5. So Sussex may fancy their chances there. And then the big one next Friday night, Surrey here at Hove. And that game is a complete sellout. And Surrey, no doubt, will be after revenge for the win that Sussex had last week at the Oval. It's going to be Finn Hudson-Prentice who's going to open the bowling for Sussex from the C end of the ground. A very special visitor here today is Luke Wright. Legendary status here at Sussex, the leading run scorer in T20 Blast history, until the other day when James Vince of Hampshire overtook him, and Luke here getting a presentation, a lovely cap and a lovely golf bag as well with Sussex Cricket Club and Luke's name on it. So really good to see Luke at the ground. But we're going to get underway, and it's going to be Eddie Byram, who's going to face the first ball of the innings from Finn Hudson-Prentice in and bowls and clipped away straight away, and it's going to be a boundary. No, it's not. It's just going to be a couple of runs. It was on the leg stump, clipped away onto the leg side and fielded right out in the deep by Nathan McAndrew. Good to see McAndrew back in the side. That horrible collision with Shadab Khan in the first match. And as a result of that, he's missed the next 3 games. He actually played on in that game, Andrew. And bowled his overs, but clearly afterwards perhaps didn't feel great, and he's missed the last 3. So in comes Hudson-Prentice over the wicket, bowls, and Byron with a play and a miss outside the off stump, and it's a wide. Umpires Michael Newell and Ben Debenham. Ben Debenham at this end of the ground?
Yeah, I think Ben Debenham was he third umpire, TV umpire, and the
yes he was. And there was a problem yesterday because one of the umpires didn't make it to the game. Someone was
because of the accident.
Yeah, because of the accident. Yeah. So 3 without loss. Hudson-Prentice up the hill, in and bowls, and Byron pulls away. Is he going to be caught, or is he going to get... Oh, I hope these fielders aren't going to collide. No, the ball just out of the grasp of the fielder at backward point. They come back for a second run. It was skewed away into the offside. Now, chasing back from backward point, I think, was Henry Crocombe. And just one horrible moment, I thought we were in for another player collision. But fortunately, that didn't happen.
People.
No.
Too early.
But they did seem to go for the same ball initially. But either way, it goes away for a couple of runs, and we're walking to 5 without loss, but a full shot from Byram.
Yeah, he tried to cut it away, didn't he, and top-edged it.
Hudson-Prentice in again, bowls, and a play and a miss outside the off stump. Delivery taken behind the stumps by Michael Burgess. So welcome dot ball as far as Sussex are concerned. The ground is, I don't know, probably about 3/4 full. So you're never quite sure on a Sunday afternoon when you get lovely weather. Perversely, you know, people sometimes find all sorts of other things to do. But I think this is a good attendance. Probably 3,500, maybe 4,000 inside the ground. As Hudson-Prentice runs away from us up the hill, in and bowls, and that's down the leg side of It's going to be another wide. So 2 wides in this opening over from Finn Hudson-Prentice. Sussex winning the toss and electing to bowl first, unlike last night when they elected to bat first and never ever had anything like enough runs to really trouble Hampshire. Hudson-Prentice is on his way again, bowls, and Byram hammers this one away. That's 4 runs. That's a lovely shot, belted away through the covers. It was slightly wide from Hudson-Prentice, but Eddie Byram absolutely belted that one away through extra cover for 4 runs. It's a lightning fast outfield here at Hove, but nothing much you could do about that, even if I think you'd have had 5 fielders outside the 30-yard circle, Andrew. That was a lovely shot by Byram.
Yeah, it certainly raced away, didn't it? It was one of those ones that as soon as he heard it out the bat, that was 4 all the way.
So good opening over as far as Glamorgan are concerned. Hudson-Prentice is in and bowls, and Byron's at it again, and this is going to be 4 more. Clipped away off the front foot, through mid-wicket. The ball races away for 4 runs. This is an expensive opening over as far as Sussex are concerned. 14 off of it so far. 2 wides in this opening over. But it can happen in T20 cricket when you've only got the 2 fielders outside of the circle.
Yeah, they're both on the fence either side of the square.
Hudson-Prentice in again, bowls, and Byron, no, he could get caught, and he should be caught. James Coles is underneath it. Oh, he drops it. Oh, that's a horrible drop. That's a horrible drop. It was skewed into the offside. James Coles, he called for the ball. He was looking behind him. I think he thought that maybe Tom Clark was coming for the catch as well, which might have been the better option. But as it was, James Coles ran back. I thought he was underneath it, and he's put down the simplest of chances. Well, not the simplest of chances, but he really should have been taken. He's got his hands on hips. He can't believe it, and Glamorgan off to a flyer. They're 15 without loss. I wonder if he was put off slightly by Tom Clark coming off the boundary, Andrew.
Yeah, just watching the replay here. Yeah, this just took his eye off the ball at the very last minute. But these things can happen. And mind you, as Paul Farbrae said after Thursday, you've got to take your catches, especially in this form of the game. So it's going to be Tamar Mills coming in now to bowl to Byram, who took that single. There's an edge now through the vacant slip and gully area past first slip and in down to the boundary for 4 more. And I tell you what, Sam North East has seen this all from the other end because Byram's taken the first 7 balls, or 7 legal balls, and he's capitalised.
That fair rattled away again, didn't it? He was very fortunate to be there.
Yes, 7 balls faced, 7 legal deliveries faced, 17 runs scored. Glamorgan and 19 without loss. As Tamar Mills coming in now. That little hop and a skip before he starts his run up. He's up to the wicket now and he bowls, and that one is not connected with by Byram, and it trickles out into the offside. No run.
I just wonder with that chance, Andrew, whether Tom Clark would have been better calling for the catch, because in a sense he was running towards the ball, wasn't he? I wonder whether he thought he wouldn't have made it. Either in the end it was James Coles who called and he took responsibility for the catch.
Yeah, so I mean Coles was nearer. But yeah, it's one of those ones, isn't it, that just shelled it at the last. But got to focus on the next jobs. That's the important bit for Sussex as Mills comes in and bowls, and a hook that is missed from Byram and goes through to the wicket-keeper. So a good response after that first over. Mills finding an edge down to the boundary, frustrating. And in this form of cricket, of course, you don't get moral victories. You only get runs against you.
Absolutely.
And
it's not until you're actually pitch level. I was watching some of the warm-ups before the game. I was watching Nathan McAndrew bowl, and you get an idea of just how quick these bowlers are. I'll just take over commentary for a moment because we're going to do an update to the listeners on BBC Radio Sussex and Surrey, as in comes Mills and bowls, and Byron leans back and plays it into the offside. So 3 dot balls in a row from Tamal Mills. Good over from Mills, bowling down the hill from the Cromwell Road end. Byram on 17, Glamorgan 19 without loss in the second over. Here on BBC Radio Sussex, Adrian Harms and Andrew Ray. But now we've got a delay here because I wonder if Byram was hit on the hand by that delivery. I think he was. And the physio is being called on. The physio's taking an age to come on.
They're calling him on quite urgently.
Yes, I think he was hit on the hand there. He looks in some discomfort, does Eddie Byram. Yes, hello to you, Sylvie. Yeah, glorious afternoon here in Hove. There is literally not a cloud in the sky, and we're underway in this latest T20 match. Sussex looking to come back from a 10-wicket hiding at Southampton last night against Hampshire. They won the toss here and decided to bowl first. We're in the second over, and Glamorgan are 19 without loss, but they should already be a wicket down. James Coles dropping Eddie Byram, a catch he really should have taken when Byram was on 13. Byram is now on 17. Sam North East yet to score. Glamorgan in the second over are 19 without loss. Surrey also in action today in the Blast, Sylvie. They're playing against Kent at Canterbury, and Kent are 17 for 1 in the second over. And this looks bad news for Eddie Byram, who's leaving the field. I believe it's on the hip, or... That doesn't look good news at all for Byram. He's being taken off the field, and he's clearly in a good degree of discomfort. Andrew's just, we're getting the replay up here on the screen. But that's a real blow as far as Glamorgan are concerned. They'll be hoping he can come back on again. We'll just have a look at this. It was delivery from Tamal Mills down the hill. Difficult to see what happened there, Andrew.
He tried to cut it away. Yeah, the camera obviously follows the ball. He tried to cut it away. He was in a little bit of discomfort as he hit it, and
feeling his hip.
He is holding his hip, actually, isn't he? And then he says no. He says to Sam North East, no, that's...
I wonder if he'd hurt himself on the previous delivery. I wonder if it wasn't that particular delivery that was the problem.
You can see him hobble away slightly.
Yes, I think he may have been hurt with the previous delivery, you know. Either way, so Eddie Byram is back in the dugout. He sort of twisted something in that previous shot that he tried to play.
He then goes through sort of a routine. He seems to be helpful enough. Seems to be able to play anyway. So Carlson is out there now, and he fends at one, tries to cut it away. It's been given as another wide.
Yes.
From Mills this time. No margin for error, is there, in T20 cricket in terms of your you're in terms of those blue lines, the umpire's very strict on it. But yes, so the situation is Glamorgan 20 without loss, but they have their opener back in the dugout after limping out of action. So he's the only one who's actually faced any deliveries so far, apart from Kieran Carlson, who faces a short one this time for Mills, which comes through an absolute rate. Just to duck out of the way of it.
Now, has he given that?
I think he's given that as an overhead no ball, yes. So no free hit, but that was an overhead wide, which effectively becomes a no ball. And so Sussex are leaking extras at the moment, Adrian.
They are. Yeah. We afford to do that in T20 cricket.
No, indeed. So Sam North East has seen this all go on at the other end without facing a delivery, as Carlson faces up to this one.
Ooh.
And it's inside edge past the stumps as goes down to the man at sort of short fine leg, and no run.
He's bowling at the speed of light here, you know, to Mel Mills. We've got a great. I'm glad we're in the commentary box and not Kieran Carlson at the moment.
Yes, and Sam North East will be able to feel his the air rush past him as he at the other end as Mills comes past him and lets rip. So if you pardon the expression. So in comes Mills now. He's up to the wicket. He bowls to Carlson, and that's down the leg side. So that's going to be another wide. It's well taken actually by Michael Burgess, diving away to his left. But as Harmsy says, oh dear, yes. Well, as another extra.
That's 4 wides already in the first 2 overs, which is another, you know. Yeah,
well they've bowled. Yeah,
2/3 of the way to an extra over.
Yes. So we're playing sort of 21-20 at the moment, and Mills is now coming into bowl to Carlson, and Carlson wafts at that one, and it beats genuine player miss that one. So a curate's egg of an over actually from the Timor Mills. Not too bad in the sense that there was no real runs scored off him in terms of aggressive intent shots. There was the edge for 4 right at the beginning of the over, which seems a lifetime ago now. And some player misses, but then also some wides and a no ball. So it was an over, and what with Byram having to go off injured, that was an over which has probably taken 10 minutes to go through.
We've had nearly 13 minutes of the match and 2 overs. Anyway, Finn Hudson-Prentice, he's going to carry on despite our expensive opening over went for 15. He comes into bowl to Sam North East, who drives onto the onside. There's a misfield in there, and there's that James Coles again. Yes, it is, who's put a chance down and fumbles one at mid-wicket. Ravi Bopara just comes across and said, that's good captaincy. Actually, it's Shadab Khan. That's good to see. Just came across to James Coles and said, don't worry, it was a misfield. It's allowed North East to eventually get on his way. He's eventually faced a ball after not facing in the first 12 balls. In comes Hudson-Prentice again, bowled. Hammered away. That's going to go away for a maximum. That's a super shot by Kieran Carlson into the hospitality area. Absolutely belted away by Carlson. Over wideish long on, 6 runs. And that's a super shot by the Glamorgan skipper.
Yeah, he was obviously put under the pump by Timor Mills at the other end, but has to be said that Hudson-Prentice hasn't started in the fashion in which he would like to, and Carlson picked that one up and launched it.
He likes playing here. Kieran Carlson made 192 in the county championship match earlier on this season, and there's a big blow, and Glamorgan up to 30 without loss in the 3rd over. Further delay as the ball comes back. A little surprised that Hudson-Prentice bowling the 2nd over, having gone for 15 in the 1st, but he comes again, bowls and leans back, does Kieran Carlson. Better delivery, played way into the offside, fielded by Tom Alsop. Backward point, and there is no run. So there are 5 men saving one on the offside in a very tight ring. On the onside, there's a mid-on, a short fine leg, and the 2 fielders allowed out of the circle at this stage are a deep backward square and a mid-wicket. Both of those fielders on the boundary. As in is Hudson-Prentice again, bowls and swung away again by Carlson, and that's going to be 6 more straight down the ground, and it has indeed goes for 6. He didn't quite get it as much as I thought he had. It drilled the ball down the ground. It hung in the air for a while and literally just dropped over the rope down below us. So it's another 6 to Kieran Carlson, and Glamorgan off to an absolute flyer here.
Yep, Tom Haynes noted that he was right in front of us. Yeah, that it was 6, but his fingers up towards the umpire. In fact, he's having a chat with the umpire now about it all. But yes, just over the rope.
36 without loss.
You have to say on other grounds that wouldn't have gone for 6.
No, it wouldn't. And you might have had a fielder back on the fence. And comes Hudson Prentice. Bowls, and Carlson works just about. Well, that's a really good bit of fielding by Tom Alsop, who deflected the ball on to backward point. He's either at backward point to Mel Mills. Nonetheless, Carlson picks up a single. He goes to 13 off just 7 deliveries. And Glamorgan 37 without loss. However, Ed Byram has had to retire hurt. Looks as if he got hit somewhere around about the hip area, or maybe he's tweaked something, but he left the ground in some discomfort. Hudson Prentice in again, bowls to North East, a much better delivery, and North East is wrapped on the glove actually, and shakes his hand. It's the end of Finn Hudson Prentice is over. And Glamorgan are 37 without loss, with Carlson on 13, North East on 1.
Yes, certainly a positive start from Glamorgan with the bat, and it has been their batting, of course, which has helped them get off to a fairly strong start in the T20 Blast this season. The engine room, really, of Ingram and Cook have been scoring runs as well, so Sussex have got to keep them quiet when it's their turn to come in. But it's Carlson doing the damage at the moment. Sam North East, of course, a very
fine
an experienced campaigner who's been around at many clubs now. As we've got a change of bowling at the Cromwell Road end with McAndrew back into the attack after that nasty one on the in the opening game. Yeah, you were there, Harmsy. His first one, by the way, was a dot ball.
It was an awful collision between him and Shadab Khan. And last night, to be fair, I said to Paul Palmer, Sussex have had a fair amount of bad luck. You lose your 2 overseas, and injuries to Alior, which is a nasty knee injury sustained at the Oval. But they didn't use that as an excuse for last night's performance at all. But it has been unlucky for Sussex.
McAndrew in bowls, and he's got a big swipe, which is missed by the by Carlson, and it's being collected by Burgess behind the stump. So good start from the Australian.
Yeah, like Nathan McAndrew, he's got that sort of little bit of an edge about him, isn't it? He's a real competitor. Sussex missed him in the last couple of championship matches when, as the overseas, he couldn't play, and Steve Smith came in and played. But he's a real competitor, and he's.
And these two, McAndrew and Mills, running down the hill,
they're a handful.
That'll offer plenty of pace as McAndrew comes in and bowls now. It's flicked off the hips by Carlson. That'll run down past the fine leg, short fine leg fielder and the deep backward square leg fielder for 4. So another boundary to Glamorgan, as the strains of Thin Lizzy ring out around the county ground.
Oh, well spotted, yeah.
And
I was impressed, Andrew, when we were talking about the Aegeus Bowl earlier on, and you said you also are Oasis there.
Yeah.
How long ago was that?
2005, right. That would have been. Well, of course, it was called the Rose Bowl back then. Now this one is thudded into the hip pad of Carlson, and they come scampering through for a leg bite.
Just held his hand up there, Nathan McAndrew. He was throwing the ball at the non-striker's end, but I didn't go anywhere near the Kieran Carlson. Good start by Glamorgan though, Andrew. 42 without loss in the 4th. It's a good power play for them so far.
It is, and of course, if you're wondering, if you're a late comer, the fact that Carlson is in is purely because Byram has retired hurt for now. Now Sam North East has only faced 2 deliveries, and then he gets one that squares him up. That was short of a length. It zipped up past his outside edge. Really did square him up, and it's gone through to McAndrew.
Well, that was a terrific delivery, wasn't it?
That real zip.
That real zip. As I was watching him on I was over by the pavilion earlier on watching the players warming up, and he does bowl with genuine pace, Nathan McAndrew.
Especially from that end, you'll have the benefit of the slope. As McAndrew now starts his run up, he comes in now and bowls, and this one, we're tempted a sort of a pull shot from North East, which he doesn't connect with, and it is a very good over, as Adrian says. And at the end of it, Glamorgan are 42 without loss at the end of the 4th.
Just the 5 runs coming off that over from Nathan McAndrew, and that was much needed for Sussex. Now it looks to me like Henry Crocombe is going to come in to bowl the 5th over of the innings. We're only in the 5th over because there was quite a delay when Eddie Byram left the field. So Crocombe's going to be bowling up the hill from the C end. He's having a chat away there to Ravi Bopara. Maybe a discussion about some field places. Kieran Carlson has shown a liking for this relatively short onside boundary. But Sussex have got no one out here. I just wonder whether perhaps they might have got a long on. But not to be. As in comes Crocombe, bowls to Carlson, who hammers that away, and he's going to get 4 runs, a fortuitous 4 runs. He was looking to hammer that one over the leg side, Andrew. He got a big thick outside edge, and the ball ends up down to the 3rd man for 4 runs, which does happen in T20 cricket. But I'm just a little surprised. And I think Crocombe is saying again here, I want a bit more protection on that leg side.
Yeah, well, they've got the 2 riders at the moment outside the ring are both square of the wicket on either side.
He's asking again now, look. Yes, it's going to, and I think that, Henry Crocombe was asking that off the first ball, and I think he's now got his wish, and I think that's exactly how it should have been.
So there's now a man at deep mid wicket, and the man on point boundary has come up inside the ring.
Crocombe in bowls, and Carlson hammers that. Well, that would have been a good catch. It was drilled away into the offside. The fielder in there got both hands to it, and the chance went a-begging, and that is that Tom
Alsop there, yeah. And of course, he was the man who was out on the rope and had just come in.
Yes.
And I think, every clever cricketers will suss it out. But of course, Carlson tried to cut into the area where they'd brought the man up.
In comes Crocombe again, bowls to Northeast, who hammers this one away through the covers, and this time there is the sweep on the offside boundary.
Yeah, they've reverted with Northeast. They've reverted to their one on either side.
Yes.
Field, and then.
But for Carlson, they're going to change it again.
Yeah, they're going to change it again. So them
goes down as a chance though. Tom Alsop.
It's sharp.
It's a brilliant effort, but having got a hand to it. Technically, but it was a brilliant effort by Alsop. In comes Crocombe, bowls, and Carlson looking for the ramp, but I think Crocombe's a bit too quick for that, to be honest.
Missed it.
Yeah. For me, I've consistently said I think he's the quickest of the Sussex bowlers, maybe with the exception of McAndrew, and of course Mills in this format as well, but he's of the younger Sussex bowlers.
You've already relegated him
to third. Yeah. I guess when I'm thinking about the young, when you think about the Hunts and the I think he's quicker than George Garton as well. In comes Crocombe, bowls, and that's hammered away, and that's going to go for 4 runs. It was too short from Henry Crocombe, and he's lent back Kieran Carlson. He's belted that one away over backward point for 4 runs. So the skipper in the groove hit, he goes to 26. Glamorgan 50 up, 52 without loss.
That was a calculated risk for me. It was, again, there's trying to make the use of the power play, and it was an uppercut, really, which he got a little bit underneath, and as you would do, but a bit edgy.
It's the advantage, isn't it, Andrew, of not losing any wickets in the power play. It's the opportunity to really attack the bowling. In comes Crocombe again, bowls, and Carlson's down. Now he's going to be caught on this occasion. It's gone high in the air. Michael Burgess underneath it, and Burgess takes the catch, as he should do, and Kieran Carlson, who'll be leading a slightly charmed life, is on his way. Caught by Michael Burgess off the bowling of Henry Crocombe. So Sussex picked up their first wicket in the power play, and Carlson is the man who's gone for 26.
Yeah, and 2 observations I'd say from that, really. Firstly, is that one calculated risk too many from Carlson? Obviously, we mentioned both of us that trying to make use of the power play and the fact that they hadn't lost any wickets at that point, although obviously they are a man down with Byram suffering that injury, but he seemed annoyed with himself when he dragged himself off the field, quite rightly so, obviously, after you get out. But the other thing I'd noticed is that Michael Burgess immediately said, "That's mine. I'm a wicket-keeper, I've got gloves. This is my area, everybody out the way."
Yeah.
Because I think he is aware of the fact that a couple of times this season, obviously notably when fielders collided, but earlier on as well, it's possible for fielders to get overexcited, converge on the same place, and he wanted everybody out of his area, out of his line of sight, and people within 20 yards of him stopped stone dead to allow him to take that catch.
So if Henry Crowe comes over, so 10 off over, 52 for the new man in is Colin Ingram.
And
He's a fine player.
He is indeed. Ingram will be facing McAndrew from the Cromwell Road end, and the Australian comes in and bowls now. That's a nicely played orthodox cricket shot out towards backward point, and they take a single, so Ingram's off the mark immediately.
Talking to our colleagues from BBC Wales who are in the next commentary box, they were saying that it is a good Glamorgan batting lineup. In fact, that run was it was Ingram on strike.
Sorry, that was North East, wasn't it? Yes, because we had the end of the change of over. Beg your pardon.
And that's okay. And so they were saying the strength is very much in the Glamorgan batting. They were saying they're not quite so certain about the strength of the bowling. So perhaps Glamorgan knowing this is a good pitch, quick outfield, you'd have thought you're going to need a couple of hundred here.
Yeah, and Sussex, of course, won the toss and elected to field. So as McAndrew comes in and bowls now, and left-handed Ingram cuts that away, it is a good stop at point. But they managed to get through for a single. It was parried down. So a fine bit of work that in the field from James Coles, and that will make him feel a fair bit better.
Yeah, it really will. It's such an important position there in backward point. Last night on a number of occasions we were saying that, and I remember Danny Briggs when he was there. It was just brilliant.
Adrian, it was a no ball, so we've got a free hit now.
Oh dear, that's not good news.
So McAndrew to North East with this free hit. In comes McAndrew now, bowls to North East, who backs away, tries to cut away and misses. So
slower ball, wasn't it, from Nathan McAndrew? That was a good bit of bowling, actually.
What was your view last night on the third man position? Because I know on the television commentary they were pointing out that both sides conceded too many runs to the third man area.
Yeah. Well, Sussex certainly, when they came to bowl, I think was that over from Finn Hudson-Prince, I think 3 deliveries went down to third man before they changed things around.
So McAndrew now coming in, bowling to North East. North East gets out of the middle of the bat through mid-wicket, and it's gone for 4. Lost it actually in the background with all the fans away to in front of the pavilion area, but it's gone to the boundary.
It's a good crowd here, I think it's a little bigger than maybe the club are expecting, because the southwest corner is really very full, which is great to see.
Yep.
Maybe a few walk-ups today, people seeing the weather and thought, right, let's go and watch some cricket.
Certainly more in than there were against Essex. And as McAndrew now comes in and bowls, and again took the pace off that one, McAndrew, and North East tried to back away, but it didn't come on as quickly as he thought it would do, and in the end he could only play it down to backward point for no run. So for every boundary, like we had a moment ago, those dot balls need to come in just to redress the balance somewhat. 8 off the over so far. This is the second to last ball of it, as McAndrew comes in and bowls. This one's cut away through point for 4. That's a superb shot from North East. You heard off the middle of the bat there. It's always a lovely noise, isn't it, Adrian, when you connect with it. And it races away to the boundary. And that's another no ball for McAndrew, so it'll be another free hit.
And that's not good news, is it? Sussex conceded a lot of extras here in these opening few. I mean, we're already up to an extra over, Andrew.
We absolutely are, if not a little bit more. McAndrew is going to have to bowl this ball again. We are, as McAndrew comes in and bowls, or that's down the leg side and a wide. It came out of his hand wrong, I think, because it came almost out at full toss length.
And it's still a free hit.
And it's still a free hit, of course.
I'm slightly losing track of how many balls we've had in this over now.
Well, we're still on the penultimate ball, but we've had, I think we've had 7 bowled so far, I think, possibly.
Yes, I think you're right. Expensive over, potentially.
Might even be 8, actually. As in comes McAndrew now. It's picked up through mid-wicket. It's not quite timed, and it will be just a couple of runs to the mid-wicket fielder.
Well, already, Andrew, it's 16-9 the total, so it's already 17 off the over.
Yeah, we've had 12 extras as well.
Crumbs.
Which when we're just in the final ball now of the power play. A power play which in time-wise has taken half an hour.
Yeah. Some of that due to the injury to Eddie Byram, yes, but some of it due to the amount of extra balls that Sussex have had to bowl here.
As McAndrew comes in and bowls. That's another one down the leg side. I don't think it's got a touch on it. It's going to run down the boundary for 4.
That's going to be 4 wides, I think.
It is 4 leg byes, so it has come off the pad.
Right.
That's probably a relief, but McAndrew trudges away. It cuts a disconsolate figure as he takes his cap back from the umpire, and I have to say that is not the over he and Sussex were hoping for. Glamorgan at the end of the power play are 73 for 1, and there have been 16 extras.
Yeah, that's extraordinary, isn't it, really? Yeah, 3 no balls, is that right? 5 wides, and actually there'll probably be another wide to go on to that.
There'll be the 4 leg byes is the extras there. So the 4 leg byes off that last ball. So it's 6 no balls, 5 wides, and 5 leg byes.
Well, Ravi Bopara is going to come into the Sussex attack, as Andrew was saying. It's taken an age to bowl these opening few overs. But Glamorgan in a very healthy place. Samuel, I think, he's been bought out a drink, I think. I think he's okay. He's going to carry on. So, these two coming together when the first wicket went down at 52 for 1.
At the end of this ball, I'll give you the full field.
There's going to be Bopara with wicketkeeper Burgess standing up to the stumps. He's coming around the wicket under lovely blue skies at home. Bowls and stroked by Ingram into the offside without timing, fielded at short extra cover.
A slower ball from Bopara there. So he's got a man out at deep extra cover. He's got a man at long off and long on. Man at deep backward square leg. Short third man, short fine leg. Mid off, point in an orthodox position.
Bopara again. Bowls. Ingram drives firmly. Good stop by Tom Haines there in the covers. Certain single, wouldn't have been any more than that, but a good diving save by Tom Haines, who made his first appearance of the competition last night down at the Aegeus Bowl. He had a big 6, Tom Haines. But he was eventually out for just 9.
There's also a deep mid-wicket as well in that field.
Bopara again round the wicket, bowl to Ingram, who just clips this one onto the leg side and picks up a comfortable single. Does Colin Ingram. Glamorgan will just feel here that they've made full advantage of the power play. They've got 9 wickets in the bank. There's no need to go mad from now on in. I think they'll just have a look at the bowling, push the 1s and 2s, 2 very experienced players in North East and Ingram, and keep wickets in the bank for later.
Yeah, I was just about to say they've made hay while the sun shone in that power play, and now there's gaps for them to pick off.
Bopara in the game, bowls, and that's a very fine piece of work by Michael Burgess. It was sliding down the leg side. It was an excellent take by Michael Burgess, who whipped off the bails.
Did it come? It must have come off something.
Well, I say, because otherwise it would have been a wide, wouldn't it?
The umpire hasn't actually taken up his...
No, he's just waiting here. Now, what's going to happen? Is he going to signal a wide? No, he's not.
I think it must have just flicked through.
Good bit of keeping, though, by Burgess. In again, bowls, and North East hammers this one away through the covers. He's taken one. They're going to come back for a second. Good bit of fielding out on the fence by Tom Alsop, who was very quickly round in front of the Spenkarma Pavilion and gets a good round of applause from the packed stands over on that side of the ground, and they really are packed as well today. Good sprawling save by Alsop. 2 more to North East. He goes to 15 of 14 delivery, 76 for 1. On his way, bowls pulled away short by North East. As far as Tom Clark, who comes in off the wideish deep mid-wicket boundary, gets in the throw.
Good over.
Good over from Ravi Bopara. Sussex needed something to haul Glamorgan back at the end of the over, 77 for 1. So just 4 runs coming off of the over. If you just joined us, very good afternoon. Welcome to Live Cricket on the BBC Radio Sussex. Adrian Harms and Andrew Rayburn, your commentary team on the most glorious afternoon at Hove.
Yes, indeed, and 77 for 1 off of 7. I think we can all do the maths on that in terms of the run rate. It is at 11s, which is imposing. So Shadab Khan is going to have a bowl now from the Cromwell Road end. So up to the stumps comes Michael Burgess. There's no other close fielders in place. Everyone else is either out on the fence or around that ring. There is a short extra cover, so just a few strides inside the circle as Shadab Khan comes in and bowls, and that's going to be worked away through mid-on for a single by Sam Northeast, who moves on to 17 from 16 deliveries, and Glamorgan is 78 for 1.
You were here on Thursday night, Andrew, where Shadab bowled very well, 4 overs, 3 for 28. Didn't bowl quite so well last night at the Aegeus, where, to be honest, he didn't have a lot to play with, 3 overs for 32. Certainly haven't seen the best of him with the bat so far, but he's primarily here, you'd think, for his bowling. And Sussex need him to apply the brakes here.
Yeah, he took 2 wickets and 2 balls against Essex in that 3-for as he comes in now and bowls. There's a bit of a reverse hit from Ingram, but he doesn't connect with it. It's more of a switch hit, I think, than a reverse sweep, but he completely changed hands.
Good to see Tamel Mills fielding. Awarded his county cap today by Luke Wright, as was Ravi Bopara.
In comes Shadab now, and it's clipped away off his pads this time by Ingram, down to deep backward square leg for a single. Yeah, excellent to see. Well, not just the awarding of those county caps, but also, of course, Luke Wright being here after what great service he gave the club.
Amazing.
Adrian will be able to tell you a little bit more about that in a minute as Shadab Khan now comes in and bowls. That's a fuller one, wrapped on the pads, big appeal, but nothing doing from the umpire.
Wouldn't have been surprised if that had been given, actually, Andrew. That looked a good shot.
It was quite full. I wonder if it might have been sliding down with the angle. It doesn't. They don't seem too miffed, the Sussex fielders. It was a big appeal, but only really from bowler and wicketkeeper. Mind you, there's not anybody else who could really see what was going on, as this time it's shorter from Shadab and it's cut away, but straight to Henry Crocombe, who fields that nicely, and a warm round of applause from the Sussex patrons. And this is again slightly dragging things back for Sussex a little bit here. Glamorgan's run rate still very healthy at 10.1, but Sussex now with Shadab Khan bowling, and this one though is launched out into the leg side, and it's over the fielder, and it's cleared the rope for 6.
Just wonder if the field had been right on the ropes there, you know, whether that may have been a chance. Is that all the way out there? Is that Henry Crocombe?
No, Crocombe, I think Crocombe was fielding a backward point earlier. But
what's this running down here? I just wondered if the fielder was right back on the boundary there.
I'm staring through 2 panes of glass from where I am, Adrian. So
it's not easy to see, is it? It is. Turn around. Is it Nathan McKendry? I think it is. No, it was Finn Hudson-Prentice. Anyway, end of the over. 85 for 1, so 8 off the over. In comes Bopara to bowl to Ingram, who hammers that one. That's a soup shot, 4 runs. Beautifully played, wasn't it? I mean, it was absolutely belted away through the covers by Colin Ingram, who's a fine player. Because when you get a boundary off the first ball of the over, Andrew, it just releases all the pressure. And, you know, Glamorgan probably think, no, I can just, pick up the 1s and 2s.
Exactly, especially outside the power play. There's gaps to be found because Sussex have obviously had to put people out on the rope.
Bopara in again. And Ingram does exactly that, just works the ball down the ground. They've taken 1, they'll think about 2. There was never a second run there as Hudson-Prentice gets in a good throw over the top of the stumps on the bounce to Ravi Bopara, but another run to Ingram, who's such a dangerous customer. He goes to 8, Glamorgan 90 for 1 in the 9th over. It's been a terrific start. Glamorgan have been asked to bat here by Sussex. Bopara on his way over the wicket bowls, and Northeast just works us into the offside, picks up a single. Goes to 24. Glamorgan 91 for 1 here on BBC Radio Sussex. Andrew Rayburn and Adrian Harns on commentary duties for you this afternoon. I mean, it's not all up for Sussex if you lose this game, but it just means that there's very little margin for error going forward. There'll be 1 out of 5, and we were saying earlier that Hampshire in the Southern Group last year came 4th, and they had 9 wins. I mean, that was, I think, extraordinary, but you probably need minimum 7. Bopara in, and Ingram works this one through the covers, picks up another single. Colin Ingram, he goes to 9. the total to 92 for 1.
I definitely think that with this, sort of relatively, certainly in T20 games, relatively inexperienced Sussex squad, obviously it's been rotated through various reasons. It's just about, that old phrase of a journey must begin with a single step, and it's about trying to put in a better performance and trying to win games before we even consider qualification.
Bapara in bowls. Outside, it took all the pace off that Ravi Bapara, and he fooled Sam North East, taken by Michael Burgess. There is no run.
It's definitely one of those pitches, and I think where pace off is going to cause batsmen more problems. But we did also see, obviously, with Mills and McAndrew, when they got it right, that extra pace can be an issue. So you don't want to be.
Para in bowls, and with a flick of the wrists, Sam North East plays that down to long on. James Coles trots in from down below us to fill. One more to the total. It's the end of Ravi Bapara's over. And at the end of the over, Glamorgan are 93 for 1, so 8 off the over as far as Glamorgan are concerned. They picked up that boundary off the first ball. I think Glamorgan will be quite happy here to go along here at sort of 8s, 9s and over for the next 4 or 5 overs. Then maybe, with plenty of wickets in hand, have a real dip at the end.
Yeah, and that would take them to 200, 210, 220 possibly. Maybe even further than that if they want to go all out and keep wickets in the tank. But for now, Shadab Khan, who conceded 8 runs from his first over, 3 dots in it, comes in from the Cornwall Road end and bowls, and a nice fully pitched up one that is played out into the leg side just for a single. And again, as Adrian says, they'll be happy just to tick over Glamorgan. Of course, the thing with on a pitch like this with batsmen in good form, you're relying a lot for taking wickets on mistakes, and Glamorgan will be trying to limit that margin for error, so they won't be going all out for big shots. And there's a sweep which is going to be fumbled. Actually, it's gone all the way through, and that's going to go down for 4.
That's that James Coles?
It's just.
Who's that in front of us?
Tom
no,
Haynes.
It's not. It's Tom Haynes.
Yeah, Tom Haynes. It bounced just in front of him, but I think he probably thought he had it covered. And double teapot from Tom Haynes, both hands on hips. But again, just got to put that behind them as Shadab Khan comes in now and bowls, and there's a forward defensive from Ingram, who's on 13 from 12. Morgan 98 for 1 in the 10th over. Live T20 Blast cricket from Hove on a Sunday afternoon on BBC Sussex via the BBC Sport app and website. And a single out to deep backward point on that occasion for Ingram, who moves to 14 from 12. Glamorgan 99 for 1.
Just working the ball around here, aren't they? Sussex could do with a couple of wickets here, Andrew, just to disrupt the flow. I'm a bit surprised to see Tamal Mills back into the attack fairly shortly.
Sam North East, 26 not out, faces up to Shadab Khan, and he plays it back up towards Shadab, who fields off his own bowling very nicely. So again, it's relatively tight bowling, but Glamorgan have given themselves this margin for error. That's the important thing.
They have, most definitely.
As Shadab Khan comes in now and bowls, and this time it's a big hit over mid-wicket for 6 more. It's another maximum to Glamorgan. It's a maximum for Sam North East. He moves on to 32, and at the halfway mark in their innings, that takes Glamorgan beyond 100. After 10 overs, with 10 to go, they are 105 for 1, but aided and abetted, it has to be said, by those 16 extras from Sussex, of which I think, yes, there have been 6 no balls and 5 wides.
Yeah, and Sussex not helping herself there. I just wonder whether we might see, because Ravi Bapara needs wickets here, Andrew. It's the best way to slow things down. He's turning to Henry Crocombe.
Yeah, so Adrian, those 6 no balls, obviously that's 3 deliveries and 5 wides. That's another 8 balls that Sussex have had to bowl in that first 10 overs.
You really can't afford that. The umpire's just having a look at the ball here, which may well have got damaged with that blow taking it into the stands.
So Henry Crocombe is going to bowl for the CN shortly. He's got the ball from the umpire now.
He's going to come into bowl to the left-handed Colin Ingram. These should come together and the scores on 52, so that's 6-4 up the 50 partnership as well. Ingram clips this onto the leg side and picks up a comfortable single. Tom Alsop racing in from deep mid-wicket to field. So just the one to Ingram. He goes to 15, 106 for one. Quite a breezy afternoon here down on the south coast. The Sussex flag billowing away on the clock tower scoreboard away to our right hand side. Henry Croker wants a change in the field. He's surveying that leg side field. I mean, particularly for the right hander here, Andrew, down the ground. It's a relatively short boundary.
Mind you, they brought. I was going to say brought long up. He's been sent back again by Crocombe.
Yeah, which is maybe a slight bit of muddled thinking. Let's see what happens. Crocombe running away from us. Bill and bowled, and that's a good delivery. It was a slower delivery by Henry Crocombe, well bowled. And
one of those wide Yorkers.
Yeah, northeast. All he can do is play into the offside. Now, I thought we might see a bit of Tamal Mills, and I think we're going to see him in the next over from the top end.
He's warming up, isn't he?
Yeah, and I think Ravi Papara's hands being forced slightly here because Sussex need to stem this flow of runs, or else Glamorgan are looking 200 plus.
Yeah, they'd love to hold him back for a couple of overs, obviously towards the end. You'd have a one over dart maybe in the next.
Crocombe in bowls. Hammered away. That's a good catch by Ravi Bopara at short extra cover. That's a really good sharp catch. Low down to his right hand side. Drilled away by Sam Northeast. And just as we said there that Glamorgan, the Sussex needed a wicket. Well, Henry Crocombe obliges, but that's a really good catch by Ravi Bopara. Low down to his right. Picked the ball inches off of the turf, and the second wicket goes down. It's the wicket of the very dangerous Sam Northeast, who's on his way for 32.
Yeah, and it's one of those, as I said earlier, that you're looking at something, a moment of magic or a mistake from the batsman. I don't think that was necessarily a mistake from the batsman. It was well pitched up. It was there to drive, but he drove it into an area where perhaps he thought he might get. Certainly they've taken a couple of singles, haven't they, where they've basically just driven it straight to fielders who can only parry it out into open space. But on this occasion, slightly up in the air, and then as it dropped, Ravi Bopara dived down at short extra cover to take a very fine catch. So an important intervention from the skipper.
Yeah, no, and these are the two danger men together now, Andrew. Chris Cook and Colin Ingram have been in brilliant form in the blast. Sussex, I mean, it's 2 wickets down. The unfortunate Eddie Byron, we don't know whether he's going to come back out and bat. He injured himself a little earlier on in the match.
In the second over, wasn't it?
Yes, so whether we'll see him.
Well, these two, 74 years between them, both 37.
And highly experienced and very good cricketers as well.
In fact, Chris Cook turned 37 just a few days ago.
In comes Crocombe over the wicket bowls. Oh, that's a good delivery, a really good delivery. And Chris Cook was very late on that. The ball rattled through to Michael Burgess. So a good over here from Henry Crocombe.
Yeah, that's
picked up both wickets.
That's the one you want to bowl to a new batsman, isn't it? In any form of the game, but certainly if a batsman is going to come out and look to try and drive early on, it won't necessarily be with authentic proper footwork, and if you can get it in the right area.
In comes Crocombe again, bowls, and Cook drives into. I thought for a moment that he'd played that straight back to Henry Crocombe. Well bowled here by Henry Crocombe. This is a good little over.
Yeah, just the one run from it so far, and that wicket. So, and we're now looking at the final over of the 11th. So, if Crocombe can get out of this without a boundary, then this is
a really good over. Tweet. In comes Crocombe running away from us. Bowls to Cook, who slams that one away through the covers. That was a lovely shot just for a single. We'll go over Henry Crocombe, just the 2 runs coming off of it, and the wicket of Sam Northeast. So well done to Henry. He's picked up both wickets to fall so far today. His 2 overs have just cost 12 runs, 2 overs, and he's taken 2 for 12.
Yeah, easily the best over of the innings so far for Sussex. It's just pegged that run rate back a bit, 9.7 now, dipped below 10, and that's little victories for Sussex as far as they're concerned. But you do get this in T20, don't you? You saw the the Surrey-Gloucestershire match the other day, where I think the target for Gloucester was something like 128, and now you've got a different type of innings where the batting side are looking to try and hit 200 plus. That's why T20 can be such a fascinating game. It can be hit and giggle, but it can also be a real tactical minefield. As Tymal Mills now comes in fresh from the other end, from the Cromwell Road end, and he's just conceded the single from his first delivery as Cook moves to 2.
Yes, I mean, it might well have always been the plan to bowl Mills here, but Sussex certainly needing wicket man. It just goes to show as well how wicket can just slow progress.
Absolutely. Now Ingram 15 not out from 13 deliveries. Glamorgan 108 for 2 as Mills comes in now and bowls, and it's a lifter, really good one, which beats the bat of Ingram. He tried to sort of lift it over sort of short third man, or actually it's gone back to backward point, but yeah, he tried to sort of uppercut it, possibly over the wicket-keeper, missed it entirely, and good bit of pace that from Mills, got a bit of pace and intent from Tymal Mills, who has bowled 6 dots so far, gone for 9, and he's bowling his 9th ball of his innings as Mills comes in now and bowls, and this one is cut away through covers, but it wasn't really well timed. There could be a chance for a run out at the wicket-keeper's end, but the throw wasn't good enough. The wicket-keeper and batsman actually collide in the middle of the pitch, or at least come together in the same area, and Burgess ends up with cuddling Cook to try and evade his...
It just goes to show here at home there are very few 2s.
Yes.
It's either 1 or 4 in general terms.
Well, it's obviously a tight, compact ground, and also, as you mentioned earlier, Adrian, it's fast, the outfield, as Tymal Mills comes in now and bowls, and that's a shorter, slower one, which, again, is Cook struggles with a little bit to try and judge, and there's no run.
Interesting stance that Chris Cook has got. In the old days, they used to call it a sort of a two-eyed stance, or he's facing straight down the wicket rather than side on. He's got a very front-on stance as Chris Cook. His feet are always pointing away to the leg side. Look.
Yeah, they are. They're sort of pointing towards sort of mid-wicket area.
Yes, they are.
I seem to remember the Derbyshire captain Kim Barnett used to bat like that, I think.
Good memory.
As Tymal Mills comes in now and bowls, and this one is a attempted, really good ball from Mills. It's an attempted swipe through the mid-wicket region, and that goes through to the wicket-keeper. And again, the patrons around the ground at the county ground at Hove enjoyed that one. And Tymal Mills now, as he comes to the end of his second over, he's conceded just 2 runs so far in this over, 10 in total, 8 dot balls in there, which are like gold dust in T20 cricket.
I love the way you call them the patrons. That's almost like an Australian term, isn't it?
Well,
I like that.
I'll be calling the groundsman a curator.
No, I like it. I think it's great. The patrons, I love that.
As Cook now faces up to Mills, and Cook cuts away. It's going to go out to the boundary rider at deep point, and they're going to get a single. But what an excellent over that is from Tymal Mills. Just 3 from it, so Sussex are pegging Glamorgan back slightly. The run rate has now dropped to 9.2. What were they after 10 overs? 105?
Yeah.
After 10 overs?
Yeah, and actually after 8 overs, Andrew, they were 85. They've only got 25 in the last 4 overs.
So that has, sort of dragged them back a little bit.
Definitely.
But with wickets in the hutch still, and although there are sort of effectively 3 down, we don't know, as you said earlier, if Byram will come back to bat. But Ravi Bopara is going to bowl now, replacing Crockham at the C end, and Glamorgan 110 for 2 with 8 overs to bowl. So
Ravi Bopara up the hill from the C end of the ground under cloudless skies, in and bowls, hammered down the ground by Chris Cook. Is that going to be a boundary? Yes, it is. There's very little chance for the fielder. Shadab Khan was chasing around the boundary. There's virtually no chance of cutting that off. It was hammered down the ground by Chris Cook. But a boundary off the first ball, and again, just the importance of getting that boundary off the first ball of the over can make such a difference to the batting side. In again, bowls, and Cook's at it again. Well, actually, I thought he played that down the ground. In the end,
sliced it.
Thick outside edge, and he sliced it to backward point to Tamel Mills, and another yard further, and that would have been straight into Tamel Mills. In the end, it bounced.
It's that third man positioning, and it's short third man that Mills is in, and this time, obviously, it's bounced in front of him. But the point that was made in the game yesterday on the television was that those were flying over short third man, and an orthodox third man might have taken a couple of catches for both teams in both innings.
114 for 2, Bapara in bowl. Pulled away by Cook. He's just going to get a single out to Tom Clark, who's at a deep, wideish middle wicket, almost a cow corner, as you would call it. One more to Cook, who's a dangerous customer. He's on 8. Glamorgan 115 for 2, but we're only in the 13th over.
Robert Croft, the former Glamorgan and England spinner, was positively seething about the fact that neither side was employing an orthodox third man in the power play.
Para, then again bowls, and Ingram plays that into the offside. He picks up a fortunate single that wasn't very far away from Tom Haynes in there at extra cover. Mistimed by Ingram, nonetheless he survives. He goes to 116 for 2, and you were talking about Luke Rice a little earlier. Good to see another ex-Sussex player, Tony Cotty, in the commentary team for BBC Wales, sitting next door to us today. Very popular figure around Hove. The Para in bowls. Cook, who plays that firmly down the ground too long on, fielded literally in front of us by Shadab Khan, who gets in the throw. 1 more to the total.
Very casual, the fielders now these days, aren't they? I mean, the long barrier has gone out of the game now, hasn't it? Shadab just confident in the bounce of the surface, just picked the ball up, bent down, didn't even think about covering himself.
Para in bowls, and Ingram looking to work that one in the end. Next side, it's hit on the thigh pad. Good reply by Ravid Bapara, who went for a 4 off the first ball of the over, but recovered well. 7 off the over. Glamorgan at the end of the 13th over are 117 for 2. But when you and I would have been playing cricket, Andrew, outfield's not as true as it is at Hove. I mean, the crumbs. Some of the wickets you'd have played on, the outfield here would be better than those wickets, wouldn't they? Yes. I mean, and the outfield sometimes could be pretty awful. So you had to get the long barrier in place, and then hope the ball didn't sort of bounce up and hit you in the teeth or something.
Well, exactly, and you'd have lost half your knee in the grass.
Yes, absolutely.
No, I take that point that they can rely on it, but
you're right. The level of fielding is extraordinary. But it's like a carpet here at Hove, isn't it? It really is.
Shadab Khan is going to continue after that 1 over from Tamel Mills. He comes in and bowls now. That's short and cut away out through cover, and they're going to come through for a single, but no more. Good bit of fielding.
Very good. James Cole's out there.
Good bit of fielding out in the deep, and cutting that down, preventing really turning that from 1 into 2. Good throw actually as well, and I think that's obviously what a batsman has to do. Both batsmen have to do. They have to eye up the fielder. Are they going to be able to throw it in from there? If so, we'll stay where we are. As Ingram now faces, and he cuts, and this time he cuts between the short third man and backward and point fielder, and it's going to be 4 runs. So that's a boundary actually, which I'm trying to recall when the.
That was a quality shot, Andrew.
It's a really good shot.
I mean, he just waited for that, and he knew that the backward point, he knew where both fielders were, the backward point and the short third man. It was right between the pair of them. Beautifully played. He's a lovely player to watch, Ingram, when he's in full flow.
So Shadab Khan comes in and bowls, and this time that's lofted high, and that's going to go into the hospitality area for 6. Picked up beautifully by Ingram, who clubbed it away on the through backward square leg, over backward square leg. There was a man out on the fence. They just watched it sail over their head, and that's another 6 to the Glamorgan total, taking them to 128 for 2. We're midway through the 14th over.
Yeah, 10 off the last 2 balls.
Shadab Khan comes in again and bowls, and this time Ingram tries to cut as he. Oh well. Now
Michael Burgess is trying to kid the umpire.
He is. That one was short and wide, and it was been given as a wide, and Burgess appealed by saying, "Well, it came off as something, ump, and if it's not out, you can't give it as a wide." I definitely felt it deflect off as something. Nope. That's a wide. So Shadab Khan will have to bowl that one again, and this time it's a reverse sweep, which is missed by Ingram, and it's collected by Burgess. No chance for stumping.
So I need to be careful here, because Shadab Khan is complaining to the umpire that it wasn't a wide, and Ravid Bapara came in from short extra cover
So he's given that a wide as well.
Yes, he did. He did give
two
this a
wides
wide.
in a row after a 4 and a 6. So Shadab Khan comes in and bowls, and this time it's hit into the ground by Ingram, sorry, who will pick up no run on that occasion.
So I reckon Sussex are going to bowl the best part of 2 extra over here, Andrew.
Yes, well, they're already into a second extra over, if you like. And now Shadab Khan comes in and bowls that one short and sort of half swept, half pulled by Ingram, and he gets a single, and that'll be moving Glamorgan on to 131 for 2.
Expensive over this, 14 off it already. One ball remaining.
And it'll be Cook, who's on 10 from 12, as Shadab Khan comes in now and bowls to him, and that's carved away over backward point for 4 more runs. So yes, a very expensive over from Shadab Khan.
18 off the over.
And not what Sussex needed at that stage. They had some control back in this innings in terms of the last few overs anyway, and now that has just released the pressure somewhat, and that Glamorgan run rate has now crept back up to 9.6 at the end of the 14th over with 6 to bowl. They are 135 for 2.
And if you've just joined us, a very good afternoon from myself, Adrian Harms, and Andrew Rayburn. Live commentary here on BBC Radio Sussex in the glorious Hove sunshine, where I promise you there is not a cloud in the sky. It's an absolutely gorgeous afternoon. Sussex winning the toss, electing to bowl first, but Glamorgan batting themselves into a very strong position. As Andrew was saying, 135 for 2, 6 overs remaining, 8 wickets in the bank, and 2 very fine players in Colin Ingram and Chris Cook, pretty well set. Nathan McAndrew, the tall Australian, into the attack for the... Oh, it's a full toss, and that's going to be a free hit, I think. It was over waist high, and I suspect that's going to be a free hit. It signalled a no ball straight away. And let's just wait for umpire Debenham to signal.
I think it's only front foot, isn't it, for a free hit?
Is it? Oh, I thought if it was over waist high,
yeah,
it is a free hit.
It's being signalled very slowly and deliberately,
yes.
Like the Queen's wave.
Yes. So it is going to be a free hit. Ravi Bopara is in discussion here with Ben Debenham about something or another, but I think this is a free hit. He certainly gave that signal. Should be shown on the scoreboard, really. In comes McAndrew bowls, and Ingram hammers the ball down the ground. He's made it pay. Oh, great catch!
No, well, put it.
Did it go? Did it go for 6?
Down.
He parried it in. It was brilliantly done by Finn Hudson-Prentice. Belted down the ground. Hudson-Prentice gets the applause of the crowd. He parried the ball back inside the boundary. So the free hit that could have gone for 6 has just gone for 2.
Yeah, definitely saved 4 runs there, and of course, even if he had caught it, I mean, he needed to stay within the rope. So if he caught it in the rope, of course, it still wouldn't have been out. But
very athletic. McAndrew in again bowls. What happened there?
Well, it was short and went past the batsman, but then bounced twice before it reached the wicketkeeper.
That was very odd. Now the umpire's having a consult here about what's given it a wide. And Colin Ingram has decided he wants a new bat. So this innings that should be completed by what's the red score say? Is it say 15?
I think it's 350 is the cut-off point. And I tell you what, Adrian, this is a match that's starting at 2:30 in early June. We may need the floodlights on at this rate.
Well, I mean, we had a long delay when Eddie Byron went off, but we've had so many wides. We'll bring you up to date in that in a minute. But Sussex into double figures in terms of wides and no balls. McAndrew in bowls, played into the offside by Ingram. That is a legitimate delivery. 1 more to the total, which goes to 141 for 2. Ingram 31, Cook on 14. Just watching a replay of that delivery. Oh no, it wasn't that delivery. We're seeing a replay of the very good stop by Finn Hudson-Prentice. Chris Cook is retaking his guard and changing the field. The deep backward point comes into... Oh yeah, that was a horrible delivery by McAndrew. That was reminiscent of Steve Harmison's first ball of the Ashes all those years ago. They ended up at sort of 4th slip or something. So no wonder it was signalled a wide. And McAndrew runs away from us to bowl to Chris Cook. He's in and bowls, and Cook's going to get 4.
Clever shot.
Yeah, I mean, he opened up the face. I mean, Nathan McAndrew looks heavenward, but there's no third man back on the fence. Although it was the thickest outside edge, he was looking to play it in that direction. And another expensive over here from Nathan McAndrew, 145 for 2. Cook onto 18. And he's just struggling to get his line and length here, right, Nathan McAndrew?
Yeah, it looked to me like he was, he opened up the face, whether it was to run it through the backward point region and got a thick outside edge, or whether he did deliberately play it between that sort of short third man and wicket keeper. There's no slip in place.
In comes McAndrew. Again, over the wicket bowls, and that's wide outside the offside. That's going to be another wide, I'm afraid. So there's been 9 wides, Andrew. There's been 4 no balls. So that's already we're into 2 extra overs. We're into the 3rd extra over now.
Yeah, absolutely. So, 9 wides, 4 no balls bowled, so 8 runs from those.
Yes, thanks very much indeed, Sylvie. Well, Sussex needing wickets here. Glamorgan are 146 for 2. We're in the 15th over, so 5 overs remaining after this. Sussex winning the toss, electing to field first as the ball is belted down the ground, and a brilliant bit of fielding by Finn Hudson-Prentice, actually, which gets a roar of approval from a really big crowd here at home, Sylvie, on a glorious sunny day. Glamorgan 147 for 2. Colin Ingram, the dangerous South African, he's on 31. Chris Cook is on 19. But another 5 overs to go after this. Both wickets taken by Henry Crocombe for Sussex. Meanwhile, down the road at Canterbury, Surrey are playing Kent. And Kent, after 17 overs, are 131 for 5. McAndrew, brilliant stop by Hudson-Prentice.
It really was.
That was really good. In comes McAndrew, bowled, pulled away by Ingram. More runs here for Glamorgan. It's going down towards deep backward square. In fact, just the single on this occasion, filled out there by Shadab Khan. 1 more to Ingram. I've lost complete track here of how many balls are left in this over. 148 for 2. 1 more ball, I think, left.
Yes.
It's been an expensive over again, though. 13 off the over so far. Glamorgan with 5 overs to go and plenty of wickets in there. I know at this stage you probably don't want to lose wickets, actually, because the new batsman's got to come in, they've got to get sorted out, and these 2 are very experienced and will know if they can stay here, 200 is very much on the cards for Glamorgan. McAndrew in, bowls. Cook hammers away, that's 6 runs. That's a brilliant shot. That is the shot of the day for me. That's absolutely magnificent. It's belted away over extra cover. Super shot by Chris Cook for 6 runs. And a very expensive over from Nathan McAndrew. 154 for 2. 19 off of that over from Nathan McAndrew. 5 overs remaining. Ravi Bopara is going to come on from the Cromwell Road end. But these 2 have been in sparkling form for Glamorgan. They came together when the score was 106. So they're, partnership of 48 so far, Andrew. And if these 2 are together after 20 overs, Glamorgan will be over 200.
Absolutely, yeah. So, so their partnership, as you say, is 48, and it's come off of 4.5 overs.
Yeah, well, it's been terrific stuff. It really has.
So it's going to be Ravi Bopara from the Cromwell Road end. So he's switching ends. The Sussex T20 captain. 0 for 19 thus far from his 3 overs. So this is the last of his spell as Bopara comes in and bowls. It's cut away out to the man on the point fence, and it's going to be a single to Ingram. Moves him on to 33 from 26 deliveries. Glamorgan 155 for 2. Cook 25 from 16.
It's by no means a lost cause here for Sussex. It looks a good track. It's a fast outfield, and as our colleagues from BBC Wales were saying, that if there is a weakness in the Glamorgan side, it is in the bowling department.
But 22 extras. I mean, otherwise Glamorgan would be on 133 right now. Or now cut away and just short of the fielder, but made up for it with a diving stop. Shadab Khan taking that one and keeping it down to 1.
Yeah, so 9 wides, Andrew, and 4 no balls.
So another 2.1 overs.
So 13
extra deliveries.
Balls. Yeah.
And I mean, we haven't got. I might be able to do it in the innings break, work out what those cost, those extra deliveries. But now that one's been swept fine, and that's going to be 4 more runs for Ingram. Moves on to 37. Morgan to 160 for 2, and that one raced away down the towards deep backward square leg for 4.
That wasn't a great delivery from Bopara, was it? You've got your fine leg up inside the circle. I know there's a deep backward square, but beautifully placed by Ingram. Again, he's a quality player, Colin Ingram. He plays T20 cricket all around the world, and you can see why he's very sought after
Ingram, left-handed bat. Bahara comes round the wicket to bowl to. He's clubbed that over the cover region, and that's going to be 4 more.
That's a beautiful shot, isn't it? Magnificent shot.
And sort of an inside-out shot played uppishly, but confidently uppishly, given that there's a gap in that cover region. And 4 more runs to Ingram, moves him on to 41, and to Glamorgan to 164 for 2. Papara is up to his mark already. He knows he needs to get through these overs as Papara comes in and bowls, cut away. That's racing across the outfield, but it will be stopped on the boundary rope. Will it? Really good fielding again. Tom Alsop out on there on the rope and stops what would have been a 3rd boundary in a row. But already we are up to 12 for this over from Papara, and we've got 1 more to come.
Well, Tamel Mills has still got 2. I'm a little surprised, unless they're going to bowl out with Mills and Papara. Which might be, sorry, Mills and Croker, I mean, sorry.
Could be Mills and Boone for all it matters, really, for Sussex at the moment. As Papara now comes in round the wicket, bowls, clipped off the off his legs, out into the leg side for a single. So that concludes Ravi Papara's 4 overs, 0 for 32, 6 dot balls in there, but an expensive one to finish with. And Glamorgan, with 4 overs to bowl, are 167 for 2. And so really, with 10.4 and power run rate so far and power to add, they'll be definitely looking at getting up towards the 210, 220 mark, Adrian.
Well, they will. I mean, that was an over that cost 13. So Henry Croker was going to certainly bowl the next over up the hill from the sea end. I would imagine Tamel Mills will bowl his 2. I've got to say, disappointing Shadab Khan, really 3 overs for 38. You expect your overseas to bowl his full quota of overs, but doesn't look as if he's going to. As in comes Crocombe over the wicket, bowls to Ingram, who pulls it. Oh, bad luck. That's going to go away for 4 runs. It was short, pulled away by Henry Crocombe. Tamel Mills in there at shortish fine leg.
That would have been sunk.
It would have been diving away to his right-hand side. He got a hand to it, but all he could do was parry it towards the boundary, and Ingram picks up another boundary. 4 off the first ball of the over, as we've said several times today. So important in just relieving the pressure. Total goes to 171 for 2. Ingram to 48. It's been a tremendous innings. Crocombe in again, bowls, hammered away down the ground. Is he going to be caught? He should be. He is indeed, by Finn Hudson-Prentice. And Henry Crocombe picks up his 3rd wicket of the innings. Well done, Henry Crocombe. And Colin Ingram is on his way. But it's a super knock by the South African. It really is. Didn't get all of that. And a very, very important wicket as far as Sussex are concerned, because Glamorgan were looking at 200 plus and might still be.
Yes, absolutely. A fantastic bit of bowling this actually from Henry Crocombe. He's obviously not played too many T20s. It's only, I think it's only his 13th match in this format, but he's already looking to get his best figures in this form of the game. Has taken 3 wickets before.
The partnership was 66, of which of which Colin Ingram made 48 of them. Very good indeed. Now, who's the new man? It's Billy Root.
Now, obviously, we wish Eddie Byram well, but probably could argue that his injury was probably the worst thing that could have happened for Sussex, because it just hastened the arrival of Ingram and Cook in the middle order.
In comes Crocombe to bowl to Root, who first ball belts that away. That is some shot. But it was overpitched by Henry Crocombe. But Billy Root, first ball, that's right out the meat of the bat, and he smashed it away through extra cover. And there is no chance of the sweeper on the cover boundary cutting that off. A, because it was hit so hard, and B, because it's coming down the hill. Now, there's all sorts of signals being made here down below. I think that's Finn Hudson-Prentice is saying, I think there should be a change in the field here.
Well, he's not got.
Crocombe's not sure what to do. Tamel Mills is suggesting a change in the field. Too many captains out there at the moment, Andrew. In comes Crocombe, bowls short, and he's lucky to get away with that, Henry Crocombe. It was a slower ball.
Well, I think the batsman's also slightly lucky. Yeah, it was a slower ball, shorter ball, which he tried to Root tried to pull, but he's managed to either edge it or glove it, and it's kind of, as he spun round, the ball's ended up in front of him and almost onto the stumps.
One too many captains out there at the moment. I like to see just the captain. There's 2 or 3 players making signals about where people should be fielding. I know it's enthusiasm, but In comes Crocombe bowls, and Root hammers that one away through backward point. He's just going to get a single on this occasion, followed by Tom Clark sweeping on that cover boundary. So Root goes to 5, 176 for 3, sorry.
Certainly, as Finn Hudson-Prentice was, and Tim Mills were sort of making signals, Ravi Bopara kind of said, no, we're going to keep it as we are. But all that while that was happening, Henry Crocombe was like, well, do I bowl or not?
Well, absolutely. Absolutely. You know, he's waiting to bowl and not really sure what he should be doing. He's coming up the hill now to bowl to Cook. He's in and bowl wide outside the off stump, carved away by Cook. Is he going to be caught? No, it just bounces in front of Nathan McAndrew, comes running in off the cover boundary. But that's a decent over by Henry Crocombe, who's picked up all 3 wickets to fall, 177 for 3, still 10 runs off of the over, but the important wicket of Colin Ingram. 3 overs to go, 177 for 3 with Cook on 27, Billy Root on 5.
Yeah, so we've got 18 balls of this innings. And it's going to be Tamal Mills from the Cromwell Road end. Mills 0 for 11 so far. And he comes up and now bowls, and this one is, well, it was Cook who was facing, it was bowled outside the off stump. He tried to give himself room to play it into the leg side, missed it entirely.
Slower ball, was it?
Slower ball, and it was not going to be a wide. In fact, I think because it could have been.
I mean, nowhere Sussex going to make the cut-off time here. I mean,
No, it's not down to them though.
No, although they have bowled a lot of extras.
Yes, but we did have a few minutes for the injury, and anyway, in comes Mills to the right-handed Cook, who's hammered that high down the ground. It's going to be 4, 1 bounce. So it's 6. It's cleared the rope. It bounced in front of the advertising hoardings at the other end of the ground to us, but it obviously had just cleared the rope, which will be slightly in front of those hoardings, down by the sight screen. And 6 more, and Cook moves on to 33 from 20. Glamorgan 183 for 3, targeting 200 plus here at Hove.
I think that adjustment to the time might have already been made, Andrew, you know.
As Mills comes in now, he's up to the wicket, he bowls. That one swung high into the air. Burgess is going to try and come round, it won't fall for him. He's going to limit that to a single, as that was really top-edged, out of the splice of the bat, really, and fell into sort of what would have been short, fine leg area.
Well, I tell these fielders aren't sure where they should be going, you know. I thought Tom Haynes there making a signal towards Ravi Bopara. He's coming down to third man. I think he's just, to fine leg. They've got it right now.
Tamal Mills, there's plenty of fielders out on the boundary. Just sort of 4 inside the circles. That's swung high up in the air. That's the highest today. That's going to come down for 6. That's gone over the hospitality area. It's still in the ground. It just went high rather than long. But I tell you what, we lost the vision of that. That went off our radar completely. It went so high, and we have to hope that whatever that's hit.
I think it hit the roof of the hospitality, actually, away to our right-hand side.
I've not seen a ball hit that high in a long time.
I mean, that's the thing, is that when you've got a quick bowler like Tamal Mills, when the ball gets hit, it stays hit, and that's got a long, long way. I mean, Glamorgan here, Andrew, well, with 2 overs to go after this one, they're looking...
230.
Well, certainly 220, aren't they?
This is some knock, and this is Billy Root, the left-hander, who's just hit that 6, and Mills comes in and bowls. This time it's fuller, wider outside the off-stump. It's been squirted out towards the point boundary. They're going to come back for 2. That's really well run.
It's well footed by Tom Alsop as well out there on the boundary. But
it's difficult for me to see that boundary rope, so I am peering through 2 painted glass.
Yes, it's not easy.
So I'm seeing sort of 2 of everybody at the moment through that glass. I can see 2 fielders per each one, really.
Henry Crocombe's figures, a standout at the moment. 3 overs, 3 for 22. I mean, Nathan McAndrew, 3 overs for 40. Shadab Khan, 3 overs for 38. Finn Hudson-Prentice, 2 overs for 29.
Tamal Mills has 1 over after this, so he will bowl the very last one as he comes in now. He's up to the wicket, bowls at shorter. That's a great delivery, actually, and it's ducked under by Root, who sort of attempted to play a pull and then pulled out of it, and so it's going to be Henry Henry Crocombe and Tymal Mills to see out this innings for Sussex in the field. Glamorgan 192 for 3. I mean, can't call it yet, but the damage, if Glamorgan go on to win this, the damage is being done right here, right now in these final overs.
Yeah, well, that was 15 off that over from Tymal Mills. Chris Cook is on strike. He has made 34.
How many have they conceded in the last, let's say, 5 or 6? We'll work that out in a minute.
In goes Croker, bowls to Cook, who plays that to backward square leg. The throw comes in, and Billy Root just scrambles back in his ground. So a welcome dot ball from. So the score, Andrew, after 15 overs, was 154. So in the last 3 overs, they've scored 38. There's more delays here. See, that time on the scoreboard, 15:50, I wonder if that was adjusted for the injury. And now Sussex are looking... There's more debate about setting the field. I think Sussex could be behind on time here, you know.
Well, they are, because obviously that 15:50 is for the beginning of the final over.
It is.
And we are in the beginning of the penultimate over.
So perhaps they're just acknowledging they're going to accept a penalty here. In comes Croker, bowls, hammered away, 6 runs. What a shot that is. Miles and miles over the corporate hospitality. It was pitched up by Henry Crocombe, and Chris Cook absolutely belted it away over the corporate area. 6 runs. What a shot that is. 198 for 3, and Cook on to 40. That's gone many a mile.
I tell you what, if you've been fortunate enough to park inside the ground, I would go and check your car after this, because there is such an onslaught from the Glamorgan batsmen at the moment. And
2, 4, 5, 7, 8, 9 sixes so far in this innings. But Sussex haven't helped their cause. You know, we're 13 extra deliveries. Crocombe in bowls. Cook's at it again. Hammers it away. That's gone for 6 more. Massive. That's gone into the southwest corner, about 20 rows back. What a shot. Chris Cook goes to 46. The Glamorgan 200 is up. 204 for 3. And Henry Crocombe, who I think's bowled pretty well here today, has suddenly gone for 12 in 2 balls. Never easy bowling in a situation like this, but what a shot that is from Chris Cook.
Again, just sort of opened up and hammered it over, well, sort of extra cover region for 6. They're over 200 now, 204 for 3. We've got 9 balls left. And the Sussex fielders, I have to say, the body language speaks volumes.
Crocombe in again, bowls. Cook is down the leg side. Is it signalled a wide?
No, I think he
it isn't. He got away with that. Well done, Henry Crocombe. 2 dot balls, 2 sixes so far in this penultimate over. Ravi Bopara comes across and has a word to his young bowler. 3 for 34, Henry Crocombe now. He's still pretty much the best figures of any of the Sussex bowlers. And in comes Crocombe again, running away from us. In a bowls to Cook, who hammers this down the ground. 4 more. Belted away, 1 bounce. 4 too short from Henry.
Tennis shot, wasn't it?
Yeah.
Straight down the ground.
Belts it down the ground. So it's turning into an expensive over. 16 off the over.
Smacked it away like a Novak Djokovic forehand at Roland Garros. Straight down the ground, 1 bounce, 4 runs.
Half century for Chris Cook, and a wonderful innings as well.
26 deliveries.
Yeah, we said he's in terrific form in this competition. 208 for 3. Crocombe, final ball of the over. In and bowls to Cook, and Cook this time doesn't time that onto the legs. He might be disappointed, actually. That was a full toss. But he picks up a single. It's the end of Henry Crocombe's over. He sort of ruffles his hair. He looks annoyed with himself. But to be fair, he's a young bowler. He's taken the 3 wickets to go down. He's taken a bit of tap there. But Chris Cook is in magnificent form. 209 for 3, Andrew, going into the last over. And that over cost 17 from Henry Crocombe.
Yep, and another over like that. And Sussex will be looking at the sharp end of 220s to overhaul this Glamorgan side, who are looking mightily impressive with the bat, it has to be said.
Well, they've won 3 out of 4, Glamorgan. As I say, a crumb of comfort for the Sussex supporters. As I say, our colleagues were saying they think that the Glamorgan bowling is the weaker of the 2 specialities for Glamorgan, but nonetheless, Sussex are going to need to go somewhere. They're going to need to go at 10 and over plus. But it's a quick outfield. Looks a good track.
Certainly does.
You know, and why not? Big crowd in. Good day to make a name for yourself.
So then the final over of the Glamorgan innings. Tymal Mills comes in to start it and bowls a slower, fuller one, which is into the leg side and is caught. So that's the end of Cook for 50. 50 and out for Chris Cook, who has produced a fantastic innings. He's taken just 28 balls for that 50.
I think that's Finn Hudson-Prentice out there who's taking that catch.
Fantastic knock from Chris Cook, who can be very pleased with himself. He won't be there at the end to see Glamorgan to this imposing total, and of course that is not only just a wicket, but it's a dot ball as well, which Sussex will be pleased with, and that will be that might bring Douthwaite to the crease. It does. Dan Douthwaite comes in.
Look, it's a long ball as well. As does Billy Root, we've already seen that as well.
Still potential punishment for Sussex to come, but 5 deliveries left, 209 for 4, Glamorgan.
Well, he'll go for broke here, won't he? But often you can find this situation where suddenly a new player and he's got nothing to lose, and he can either go around the park, or sometimes the bowler you can have a final over that barely goes for anything.
Born in Kingston.
Yes,
Dan Douthwaite.
Relatively local. Went to university in Cardiff, I think, and I think he's...
Yeah, studied at Cardiff Met after spending his teenage years in the Surrey Academy. Got a maiden first-class 100 against Sussex.
I think he was a good friend of Phil Salt's from memory.
So, Douthwaite faces up against Tim Mills. He's spooned that down the ground. He went to hit it through the leg side, got a leading edge. It's gone right the way down to the boundary, picks up 2 runs.
I think he went to Reed School.
Yes, in Cobham.
Right, so that's where Phil Salt was and knew him from.
And has experience in this format, in this 48th match in T20. Does have a couple of 50s to his name, so he can certainly bat.
He can. I've seen him hit a couple of long balls in T20 cricket.
Mills comes in and bowls to Douthwaite. Douthwaite tried to swing that through the leg side, didn't get anything really on it. He's going to get a single. He thought about a second, but there was never a second there. So he's claimed 3 off of his first 2 deliveries. It may be only 2 he faces, who knows? There's 3 balls left of the innings, assuming Tim Mills can bowl them in a straight line, which hasn't always been the case with the Sussex bowlers today. 212 for 4. There have been 23 extras. Not all of them no balls and wides, but certainly enough to...
Well, yeah. 17 and 9, what's that? 26 extras in wides and no balls. Is that right? No, sorry.
17.
17, sorry. Yeah. But 2 extra overs, and I think Sussex will incur a penalty here as well.
Oh, that'll be fun. As Tim Mills comes in and bowls that one fuller and slower and worked away to backward point for a single. Good running. And so Douthwaite is going to face at least another ball. Root on 14 from 7, including a massive 6.
Is it 6 runs, the extra penalty? I forget what the rules are around not bowling your overs in time.
We'll soon find out, no doubt. Yeah, nearly 4 o'clock.
Yeah, way behind.
Local time. So hold off on the kettle for the moment. This is the last couple of balls before you can go away and grab a cup of tea as Mills comes in and bowls, and that's out the middle of the bat from Douthwaite. That's going to be 6 more. Oh. That's a huge hit towards the pavilion and the changing rooms and the Sussex Indoor School. If you know the First Central County Ground, you'll know where I'm talking. That is a huge hit.
Well, this is going to be 11 and over, isn't it? 219 for 4. Well, it will be 11 and over to win it. A tall order. You've got to go for it from the beginning, haven't you?
Was that match, was it at Chelmsford last year where both sides, or was it Surrey, I can't remember now, where both sides made over 200?
Well, good game to win.
Certainly is from here. Last ball of the Glamorgan innings then in this T20 match at home as Tim Mills comes in and bowls. It's been spooned high up in the air. It's going to fall safe, I think. It's going for 6, is it?
No, it's been caught on the long boundary.
Caught the long boundary. I lost it in the whiter build of the building.
I think that's Nathan McAndrew who took the catch.
Well, there you are. I lost it in the white cladding of the building opposite, but then it came down. It was caught by McAndrew in the deep. So Sussex take a wicket with the final ball, but Glamorgan finished.
This is a higgity feast. There's plenty of this, and these as well. We top it like this, and bake it like that. Higgity. Baked generously. This is a higgity feast. There's plenty of this, and these as well. We top it like this, and bake it like that. Higgity. Baked generously. This is a Higgity feast. There's plenty of this, and this, and these as well. We top it like this, and bake it like that. Higgity. Baked generously.
Well, welcome back to Ho for this T20 Blast South Group match, Sussex against Glamorgan, and the start of the Sussex Sharks' reply to Glamorgan's imposing 219. It's 4:10 local time, and the two teams are back out with Tom Clark and Tom Haynes opening up for the Sharks, and it's going to be McElroy for Glamorgan to open the bowling. Jamie McElroy from the Cromwell Road end to the left-handed Tom Clark. He's left arm himself, and Sussex can't get away on that one because it's played down into the ground to backward point for no run. So Sussex did go over their cut-off in their fielding, and had to have one extra fielder inside the circle as a result for what we think was the last 8 deliveries. Glamorgan able to race up to 219 as McElroy comes in and bowls, and this time Clark is forced into a defensive shot, and the fielders are buzzing around out there for Glamorgan, as indeed they might, given the batting performance, which was sensational, particularly from Chris Cook, 50 from 28 balls, and Colin Ingram, 48 off of 32, but supported before that by Sam Northeast, who made 32, Kieran Carlson, who made 26, and some last couple of over hammering from Root and Douthwaite as Sussex get off the mark now with a single out to the deep on the leg side. So Clark gets that run as they look to try and get 11 and over to try and win this match. Sandra Rayburn and Adrian Harms on commentary with you this afternoon on BBC Sussex on the BBC Sport website and app, and there's going to be a single first ball for Tom Haynes out into the leg side. So Sussex making a rather steady, sedate start to their innings of the first 4 deliveries. Adrian has kindly brought in a cup of tea for me with a cappuccino for himself as he surveys the scene around him, and Sussex need obviously to pick up the rate as McElroy comes in and bowls, and it's rather sliced up in the air by Clark, but he's going to get away with it. It's going to go away for 4 runs, is it? Yes, it is. Right in front of the players' changing room and the indoor school, and a boundary for Sussex with Belinda Carlisle now the song of choice.
I'm impressed by your musical knowledge, Andrew.
Well, I am if I don't know anything about the cricket, I'll come up with something about the music. As McIlroy now comes in from the Cromwell Road end and bowls, and that's attempted to pull round the corner by Clark, but he doesn't get a hold of it, and it goes to the man at short fine leg. So, I mean, Glamorgan will be happy enough with that. 6 off the first over when you're chasing 11. Does obviously increase the pressure somewhat, but Sussex know they will just need to get off to a steady start and try and maybe go up through the gears. Although, I'd say on a pitch like this, with an outfield like this, you do want to try and make the most of the power play with the fielders up. You can try and lift it off the pace of the pitch and the pace of the delivery, is trying to lift it over the fielders. And if you do that, it is going to run away for 4. Because we saw that one with Tom Clark, didn't we, where that's up the hill and still went away for 4.
Well, it's Rodri Smith, who is going to open the bowling from the C end of the ground. He's going to be bowling to Tom Haynes. So off the first over, Sussex 6 without loss. As in comes Smith and Mole down the leg side, and that'll be signalled a wide. Sussex will be hoping for a few more of those. Sussex conceding 9 wides in that innings. As Smith makes his way back to his mark down in front of us. Sussex needing 220 to win. They need to score at 11.2 and over. Smith, slow approach to the wicket, right arm over the wicket, bowls another one down the leg side, so 2 wides in a row. So not a great start as far as Smith is concerned. Well, Tom Haynes very happy to let those go. I keep thinking in these T20 matches that one day we're going to see a big innings from Tom Clark. Andrew, he keeps threatening to, getting into 20s and 30s, but then getting out. It was the same again last night. I just wonder whether today might be his day.
Let's put the mockers on him now.
Yeah, bowls, and Haynes is forward and pushes that into the offside, and there is no run. I want to talk about, there is 1 run taken by Tom Haynes. So still 5 balls to go in the over. I guess what Sussex won't want to do after last night is just dig themselves into a hole and find themselves, 3 or 4 wickets down very early on, which will make a run chase nigh on impossible. So it's all about pacing the innings. It's a fast outfield, relatively short boundary on, particularly on this Clock Tower scoreboard side of the ground. As Smith is in, bowls, and Tom Clark looks to whip that one away the leg side, and it's a 3rd wide in 4 balls. So this isn't a great start by Rodri Smith. A very good take by Cook diving away down the leg side. Sussex won't mind this at all. Into double figures, 10 without loss in the second over here on BBC Radio Sussex. Andrew Rayburn and Adrian Harms on commentary as in comes Smith and bowls, and Clark pulls that one away onto the leg side. An ugly looking shot. Nonetheless, he picks up a single, does Tom Clark. He goes on to 6. And the Sharks to 11 without loss. It depends where you're sitting in this commentary box. Sometimes the numbers on the scoreboard are not easy to see. It's a little easier actually from this commentary box than it is on the one next door. The fellas next door have got the sun shining right into the box. So we've got the better of things today where we're sitting. As Smith is in again, bowls, and Haynes drives crisply down the ground, fielded by Douthwaite on the edge of the 30-yard circle, and there is no run. Haynes wanders away to square leg. If you're just joining us, Sussex winning the toss today, asking Glamorgan to bat first. Glamorgan rattling up 219 for 5, runs all the way down the order. North East 32, Carlson 26. The real impetus though from Colin Ingram, he made 48, and Chris Cook with 50. Smith again in and bowls, and Tom Haynes pulls that one to shortish fine leg, followed by McIlroy, but Tom Haynes picks up a single. So we've still got another delivery to be bowled in this over. 3 wides in the over so far. As Smith, tall man, wanders down back to his mark, just down in front of us. The 2 fielders outside the 30-yard circle are a deep mid-wicket and a sweeper on the cover boundary as Smith is in, bowls, and Tom Clark has a heave across the line at this. The throw comes in, hits the stumps. There's a very fine bit of fielding at backward point. I think that's Sam North East with the throw. It came in, it hit the stumps. Tom Clark was running to the non-striker's end. Nonetheless, he does pick up a single. The stumps are broken and a bit of repair needs to be done. There is still 1 ball to be bowled in this over. The Sharks are 13 without loss. brings Tom Haynes on strike. Smith runs away from us. To bowl to Haynes, who drives down the ground. Lovely shot, 4 runs. That was a good shot by Tom Haynes. Over pitch by Smith. And that's an expensive over. Drilled away straight back down the ground. Not helped by the fact that he bowled 3 wides in the over as well. But Sussex will be pleased enough with their start, and that was a lovely shot by Tom Haynes, straight down the ground. The end of the over, Sussex are 17 without loss to an over that cost 11 runs. Just by means of a direct comparison, at the end of the second over, Glamorgan were 24 without loss.
Yeah, and while Adrian's been doing all that, I've been working out, or I've started to work out the cost of Sussex's no balls and wides in terms of having to bowl that ball again. I've only got to a few of those deliveries, but I can tell you that there are a couple of those deliveries that had to be bowled twice more because it was followed up with a wide was followed up with a no ball or vice versa. It just cost Sussex dearly, as has that extra fielder needing to be up in the last 8 deliveries. A single off the first ball of the third over for Sussex as they try and overhaul this Glamorgan total of 219. Because as we say, Adrian, it's not just the individual runs conceded for the no balls and wides, it's having to bowl that ball again as McElroy comes in from the Cromwell Road end, and it's been played out to the offside this time by Haynes for another single. 19 without loss, 200 and 1 to go.
It seems so strange to be commentating on T20 cricket without Luke Wright in the Sussex side. You always felt that Sussex could get off to a fly when Luke was in the side, but well, we have to do without him these days.
Oh, he's bowled. Sorry, my mic was off there, and Clark has been bowled by McElroy. Tried a big swing, and the off stump is out of the ground.
Well, that's a horrible looking shot, really, isn't it?
It's a mo, wasn't it?
I keep on thinking that Tom Clark's going to play a big innings. He's got all the shots in his locker, but that's a horrible shot, really. Played all across the line, just a big mow down the ground, straight delivery by McElroy, and he's on his way, and I don't think that's a great bit of cricket, if I'm being perfectly honest. Tom Clark is gone, he's bowled, and Sussex first wicket is down.
So it will be Tom Alsop to stride to the crease. You don't get in the Sussex top order these days unless you're called Tom.
No, it does help to be called Tom. There's no question about that. But he's just got himself a start there, hasn't he, Tom? He'll be desperately disappointed. I know it's important to make full use of the power play, but it was an ugly smear really by Tom Clark. Nonetheless, he's gone. Tom Alsop comes to the crease, who was in excellent form at the Oval last week.
Yes, indeed, as McElroy now comes in to bowl to Alsop, and Alsop immediately plays that out towards the mid-wicket boundary. It's a good diving stop on the rope, and that will mean that it cuts it down from 4 to 2.
Very good bit of fielding.
Really good work out on the rope by Hatsoglu.
Yeah, that was very good. I mean, that looked for all the world like it was 4 runs, but good to see Tom Alsop. That was straight out of the meat of the bat first delivery.
He did time it well, didn't he? So McElroy comes in again, left arm, and this time Alsop, also left-handed batsman, tried to play that through the covers. He rehearses the shot, he didn't get hold of it, and it's no run. Sussex Sharks 21 for 1.
See Sussex reverting to Ravi Bopara, I would imagine could have come in at 4.
Yes, he opened rather unsuccessfully against Essex.
Yes, yeah.
And his shot was rather torn apart by the coach, Paul Farbrace, afterwards. And a single to Alsop, out into the leg side, 22 for 1.
Good over.
Very good over, actually, yeah, for McElroy. Superb stuff.
Just the 5 runs off the over, Andrew. At the same stage, Glamorgan were 37 without loss.
And, of course, the wicket as well.
Yes, absolutely. So, are we going to get a chance? Is Smith going to bowl the next over? Or we're going to get Dan Douthwaite. He's going to come into the attack, the right-arm medium pacer. He's going to roll up the hill from the sea end. Glamorgan will be pleased with the way the power play has gone so far. It's going to be Douthwaite who's going to bowl to the left-handed Tom Alsop, who's 3 not out. Sussex 22 for 1 here, with 3 overs gone, needing 220 to win this game in the T20. In comes Douthwaite, bowls and pulled away by Alsop, and he's going to pick up at least a couple of runs. The fielder comes racing round the leg side boundary, gets in the throw, but 2 to Alsop. He goes to 5, the total to 24 for 1. I'm sure that fielder was all the way out. There's a long, long way out by the Spenkarma Pavilion, which is my excuse.
Well, as I'm peering through 2 panes of glass at different angles,
Yeah.
so I can't see. I can see everything reflected back at me, so I can't see it without craning my neck round.
Douthwaite on his way again, bowls to Alsop, who drive down the ground. Oh no, has he been run out, Tom Haines? He has, and that, well, it rather sums Sussex's luck up in this competition. Tom Haines is on his way. It was drilled down the ground by Tom Alsop. It hit Dan Douthwaite on the boot, ricocheted onto the stumps. Tom Haines was out of his ground. He looked at the umpire. He knew he was gone. And Tom Haines wanders off for 8, and things going from bad to worse here for Sussex. They're 2 down. He's run out. Backing up is Tom Haines. And Sussex are 24 for 2.
Well, hasn't that happened a couple of times in the Championship this season as well?
It's happened to Ali Orr, who was run out on twice. In fact, it was 3 times in 5 innings at one stage. The last match of last season against Glamorgan, funnily enough, when it started, with the ball drilled back by Tom Haines, and the ball deflected onto the stumps by the bowler. But on that occasion, it just hit Douthwaite, didn't it? I mean, he was very fortunate. But I mean, we all look at these things and say it's bad luck, but I suspect the coaches will say it isn't bad luck. I think that's the general view.
Don't aim for the bowler.
Well, I think in the professional game, I think players say you really shouldn't be called back out. You really shouldn't be run out backing up.
Very difficult in T20, mind you.
In comes Douthwaite, running away from us. Bowls to Alsop, who clubs that one away to the sweeper on the cover boundary, who makes a bit of a hash of fielding, but nonetheless gets the throw in. It's Hansagoglu out there, gets in the throw. 1 more to the total, which brings in Ravi Bopara. And you feel here a lot depends on Bopara. Bopara, Alsop, Burgess. Sussex will be looking for those 3 to really make a mark of themselves in this game. Sussex really with it all to do. Douthwaite running away from us. In a bowls to Bopara, wide outside the off stump. Bopara with absolutely no foot movement at all. But he's looking at the umpire as if to say, wasn't it a wide? Well, it would have been if he hadn't got his back to it. And I think he did get his back to it, didn't he? It looked to me like he did.
I'm not sure, but certainly, yeah. I mean, obviously he's made room. Well, he's followed it, isn't he? So that's why it's not a wide anyway, whether he's hit it or not.
Douthwaite in bowls to Bopara, who strokes as casually to backward point, and there is no run. So accurate stuff here from Dan Douthwaite. So Clark for 7, Haines for 8, was it? I'll check that in a moment's time. Been out for Sussex.
Yeah, Haines has run out for 8 off of 6 balls.
In comes Douthwaite, bowl short, and Bopara looking to swing that away on the leg side. He looks heavenward as if to say, why didn't I connect with that? The ball rattles through into the gloves of keeper Cook. It is the end of the over, an accurate over from Dan Douthwaite. At the end of the over, Sussex are 25 for 2 in the power play, so just 3 runs off that over. At the same time in the Glamorgan innings, Glamorgan were 42 without loss, which gives you an idea of just how far Sussex are behind here. This is going to need a couple of very, very fine innings if Sussex are going to get close. We're going to get a bit of spin from the top end. I think it's Sasodia who's going to come into the attack.
It is. Yeah, it's the Sasodia from the Cromwell Road end. He's going to come left arm around to the left-handed Alsop, and there's going to be 1 run as to
good fielding.
Yeah,
Well, sometimes tell Andrew when a side have really got their tail up in the field, can't you? They're chasing around, and that could easily have been 2 runs, but 2 fielders helping each other out.
Yeah, I mentioned that actually when just before you came in with your coffee, that certainly in the first couple of balls they were herring around and have been ever since, and obviously the 2 early wickets have perked them up even further. So I'm trying to peer around the various bits of glass that I've got for the field, but as Sisodia comes in and bowls and lofted down the ground by Bopara for 4 runs through long off.
Didn't even bother running for that, Bopara, did he? I think he knew it was 4 runs from the moment that he hit it.
Even though it wasn't impeccably timed out of the middle, and it was, say, in the air but under no real threat, and uphill, up the hill in front of the sort of permanent temporary stand, if you like, as Sisodia comes in and bowls, and this time it's going to be played out is the offside for a quick single. Well run, and they need to take those quick singles, don't they?
No, they definitely do. Received his county cap today, did Ravi Bopara, together with Tamal Mills, presented by Luke Wright. I don't know whether Tamal didn't already have his county cap, but clearly not.
Prem Sisodia with 36 wickets in 36 T20 matches. Comes and bowls, and this time it's over the head of the square leg fielder for 4. There was a brief shout of catch it, as you may have heard, but Allsop has got enough on that, enough meat onto it, and has sent it over the head of backward square leg, who
wasn't far away from Sam North East. I wonder if he didn't pick that up.
Well, certainly I think the shout of catch it might have surprised him, because
yes.
Anyway, 2 boundaries in the over so far. Sisodia, left arm, comes in round the wicket and bowls, and it's played up this time through mid-wicket. They're going to think about 2 as it goes out to the mid-wicket boundary. There's plenty of time to come back for 2. It is sort of, I think you'd say it's the longest part of the maybe.
That was a good bit of fielding out there, wasn't it? That all the way out. There's that McElroy out there. It was a wonderful bit of fielding. He was round the boundary really quickly. The throw was right over the top of the stumps from the long part of the ground.
As Sisodia comes in and bowls that one short and pulled away, but it's going to be only a single to the man out at deep mid-wicket. What we don't know, and I'm not certain, is if we've got Eddie Byram out there.
That's a very good point.
There is a substitute fielder on. We shall try and identify that. I suspect not, but because he retired hurt when batting, but we'll see.
Yes, he's number 17, I think, Eddie Byram. So
97 I've got here.
Sorry, 97. I can't read my own writing. 97, you're correct. I mean, I'll be surprised, because he did look in a considerable discomfort when he went off. So, end of the 4th over. Smith back into the attack, looking slightly better for Sussex. 36 for 2. So 11 coming off the over. At the same stage at Glamorgan were 52 for 1. It's Smith back into the attack. He's in and bowls. Hammered away by Allsop only as far as backward point. And there is no run. Better start from Smith, who bowled 3 wides in his opening over. Sussex bowled 9 in total in their innings. Yes, thank you, Sylvie. Lovely afternoon here at Hove, but Sussex really up against it. But they're fighting back through Tom Allsop, who's just struck another lovely boundary. Hammered away through the covers, getting applause from a really big crowd here at Hove this afternoon. The Sharks are 42 for 2 in the 6th over. Tom Allsop is on 18. Ravi Bopara is on 5. The 2 men out, Tom Clark for 7, and Tom Haynes, who has run out backing up for just 8. But they've got to go some, Sylvie, because Glamorgan made 219 for 5 in their 20 overs, with a wonderful half-century from Chris Cook and 48 from Colin Ingram. Elsewhere at Canterbury, Kent made 173 for 5 in their 20 overs, and in reply, Surrey going along nicely. They're 76 for 1 in the 8th. Allsop drives the ball down the ground, fielded by Douthwaite. I think he's eating himself, you know, Dan Douthwaite. Mid-on, just fielding the ball. I don't know whether he...
Well, it came at a real rate to him. I think he's probably fielded it with his leg. He'll be all right.
He's a big, strong fella, isn't he, Dan Douthwaite? But he looked in a bit of discomfort.
Might have caught him on the ankle.
Smith again runs away from us, bowls to Allsop, who pulls away, and that's going to be 4 runs. Well, that rather sat up for Tom Allsop, who was particularly severe on anything short. And he absolutely belted the ball away through mid-wicket for 4 runs. Also goes to 22. Things looking slightly brighter for Sussex. 46 for 2 in the 6th. And Smith's getting a bit of tap here, you know.
You said I was sounding a little bit Australian earlier with my reference to patrons around the ground.
I enjoyed that, though.
I'm going to sound a bit American here. I'll sound it after this ball.
Smith in again, bowls, and also batted again, driving down the ground. Doesn't quite time this, though, fielded by Ingram, who comes across from mid off to field. Allsop to 23, and the Sharks to 47 for 2.
Is this, as they say, is this the game right here, right now, Adrian? Is this in it? Is this partnership going to be what needs to drag Sussex to within touching distance of this if they're going to make a serious fist of it? Does it need to come from these two to, or
certainly one of these two, most definitely. Way to go. Smith rather up the hill, bowled. Well, Parra hammers that away. That's going to probably be 4 more. It's running down the slope. I don't think they'll catch that. It rolls away. No chance of carrying that off. He didn't really time it, did Ravi Bopara, but that's an expensive over from Smith. Ravi Bopara goes to 9. The 50 up for Sussex. 51 for 2 at the end of the power play. So things looking a little better for Sussex. At one stage, they were 25 for 2. And Bopara on 9. Allsop on 23. At the same stage, Glamorgan was 73 for 1, so they're still some way ahead. But at least Bopara and Allsop dragging Sussex back into the match.
And the Duckworth-Lewis-Stern score at this score at this stage, which of course there's no threat of rain, but just as a little bit of a guide as to what you should be on with the resources you have, is 73 as well. So Sussex are both in terms of comparison with Glamorgan at the same stage and with the Duckworth-Lewis-Stern method are a good 20 runs light at the moment, but they need to add as Carlson now comes into the attack. Right arm over, so the left-handed Allsop who cuts and will get 4 more up the hill in front of the stand, which I think Adrian has filled up even more so since the start of the match.
I think it's a really good attendance here today. Really good. The club was saying they thought maybe 3,500. I think it's all of that today, you know. Another good shot by Tom Allsop.
Allsop facing up again against Carlson. This time he plays it through mid-wicket. He's going to come for a single. They're going to half think about 2 and then change their mind.
He's very quick between the wickets, is Tom Allsop.
We were discussing, I know it's not exactly blinding anybody with science, but myself and the 2 Essex commentators, Paul Newton and Dick Davis, were discussing the other day how obviously in T20 cricket and short form cricket generally, and in Test cricket for that matter, sometimes you don't want to hit the ball well because that can cost you a run or 2.
Yes,
if you
absolutely.
Hit the ball too well.
No, it can indeed.
It's like the FA Cup final, wasn't it, when that Ilkay Gundogan winner probably wouldn't have gone in if he'd hit it well. As Carlson comes in and bowls, and he's almost got a return catch. I think he's dropped it, in fact. But Parra offered up a return catch. He's going to go for a single. It was difficult chance, actually, to be fair. Carlson had to dive down low to his right, and of course, he did have Allsop, the non-striker, in his way, but no sense of interference, of course. But it did make life difficult, but it was definitely a chance.
I think he'll be disappointed to have put that down, Kieran Carlson.
Carlson round the wicket, this time to the left-handed Allsop, who carves that away through mid-wicket for a single. There's a sort of half attempt at a long barrier, but even then there was a fumble, and that's why you do it. You have to get your body behind it if you don't get your leg fully behind it, because if it bobbles, you're in trouble. In fact, we saw some of that at the Aegeus Bowl last night as Carlson then offers up a full toss, which Parra has swung away. He's going to be caught, and now that is possibly a summation of Sussex's season so far in the T20 Blast. A full toss from Carlson, a real treat of a ball for a batsman, and Bopara has mistimed it and has offered up a catch down at long off, and it has to be said, it's 2 wickets really for Glamorgan, which have, well, one's come from a deflection off the bowler for a run out, and then an absolute pie from Carlson, which has produced a full toss, and it's gone straight down the fielder's throat.
Well, I know he's a hugely experienced cricketer, Ravi Bopara, and it's very easy to say from the commentary box, over 400 T20 matches, but that's a poor shot, isn't it? I mean, it's a full toss. It could have got out the ground. He's hit it straight down the throat of a long on, and he'll know that's a poor shot. He wanders off towards the dugout. It's one of those, I think probably when you sit down in the dugout, no one says anything, because everybody knows that's a really, really poor shot.
Shadab Khan is the next man in.
I didn't see who took the catch. I don't know if that was the substitute fielder who took the catch. Yes, it was, and we're waiting to see who the substitute was. Either way, I'll find out at the end of the next over, but well, he's really given that away, but Para, hasn't he?
So Carlson comes in and now bowls to Shadab. Shadab plays that into the leg side where there is a bit of space now after the power play, and they'll take a single, and Shadab will keep the strike at the end of the 7th over. Sussex 59 for 3, chasing what seems an unlikely 220 to win, but they need to go at 12.4. They're currently going at 8.4.
This is the sub fielder coming down here. He's the tall chap. We might see his name on the back of his shirt when he makes his way down here, Andrew. It is... oh no, that's McElroy. Either way, it was caught by the substitute fielder, so we'll perhaps find out who there is a little later on. So this chap here who's going down here, let's see if we can see his name on the back of his shirt. Yes.
Yeah.
Taylor, who took the catch. So Society is coming in from the C end of the ground. Around the wicket comes in and bowls to Shadow, who plays this to extra cover. There is no run. We're really yet to... I'm a little surprised that Shadow Khan is batting as high as 5. Hasn't really found his feet so far in this competition. Maybe today's the day. In comes Society, bowls to Shadow, who plays it one down the ground to long on, fielded by Taylor.
Callum Taylor, yeah, the substitute fielder.
Thank you, Andrew. And more to the total, you feel here an awful lot depends on Tom Alsop now. That's not to say the likes of Coles, Burgess, Hudson, Prentice, McAndrews can't score runs, but you feel you need someone to play a really big innings here for Sussex. And maybe Tom Alsop is the man. Society is in bowls and well bowled, and Alsop was looking to get down the wicket, and I think Society saw him coming. Alsop played it straight back down the track, and there is no run.
Coincidentally, the last... give you that in a second.
Society in again, bowls, and Tom Alsop works this onto the leg side. It's only going to be a single though, as the man comes in from deep mid-wicket and fields. Good fielding by Glamorgan. So it's probably the 1 or 4 here at Hove, to be honest.
The last T20 that Callum Taylor played was against Sussex at Fire Gardens back in July 2021.
Great stat. Thanks, Andrew. So in again, bowls, and Khan is going to be caught, I think, down here at long. No, he's not. That's a really good effort by Callum Taylor. He came racing in, and I think he's hurt his foot, actually. It's one of those, or he's hurt his elbow. It's one of those where you come running in to take the catch, and he committed to the catch.
Just dies on you.
And it didn't quite get there, but a let off really for Shadow Khan. It wasn't a chance. Side in again, bowls. Tom Alsop cuts firmly, but only as far as extra cover, fielded by Ingram. Really good over this from Prem Sisodia, in which he concedes just the 3 runs in the 8th over. 62 for 3 are Sussex, with Alsop on 30. Shadow Khan is on 3. At the same stage of the Glamorgan innings, Glamorgan were 85 for 1. Sussex 62 for 3. So have a little natter in the middle of the pitch. What it needs here is an innings from it needs sort of like a David Visa, doesn't it, to come in and pump a quick sort of 30 or 40 to get Sussex back up. That's what it really... Maybe Shadow Khan is the man.
Well, Shadab is facing now. Carlson comes in and bowls, and Shadab goes to swing that one away. He might be caught on the rope, and he is.
He is caught. Or did he go over the ropes?
No, he was inside the rope. So Shadab Khan isn't the man to have that innings, as Adrian just pointed out, and he goes for 3, and Sussex Sharks are sinking to 62 for 4.
Well, I don't think that's a desperately clever shot, if I'm being honest. I mean, there's a fielder out at Cow Corner exactly for that shot. And the 2 last wickets that have gone have been balls that have been played straight down the throats of the fielders on the long-on boundary and at Cow Corner. And he hasn't really hit his straps, has he, Shadow Khan, in his innings so far for Sussex since his arrival. Tom Alsop's still there. It was Alsop and Burgess who saw Sussex through to victory at the Oval last week. But Shadow gone. The problem is Sussex are losing wickets. 62 for 4 in the 9th. Shadow wanders off up the centre, so I'm sure he'll be bitterly disappointed. He's on his way, and
Shadab Khan yet to make
Kieran
double
Carlson
figures.
with the wicket.
Shadab Khan yet to make double figures. 9 against Somerset. 0 against Essex, first bowler, and 1 against Hampshire.
In comes Carlson bowls and helped down the ground by Burgess, who picks up a single. Was it your over, Andrew?
It was.
I am sorry.
That's okay, mate. Don't worry about it. Single for Burgess, then first ball. Allsop's on 30 from 21. This is the game now for Sussex. This has to be a 100 partnership or more to try and get Sussex within range, if for an impossible victory, really, it would seem. But don't go anywhere just yet. Cut away this time by Allsop. He's going to pick up 2. Well, they're going to have to go quickly for the second, and they do, so that's okay. I think the throw went to the wrong end, actually, but they made it home nonetheless. Wind appears to be dropping slightly at Hove. The flag is trying to unfurl, but it's occasionally going back to its mast again as comes in and bowls now. Carlson fires that one in quicker, and Allsop can only defend up the pitch.
It was Billy Root who took the catch over in front of the pavilion. Good catch as well, but it was straight to him. It was just a case of whether it was going over his head or not.
Carlson comes in and bowls, and that's played out into the leg side by Allsop. They're going to come through for a single. No second there. Allsop turned and found that Burgess had his back to him anyway, so Burgess had already made the decision. There was no second run.
But, I mean, there's plenty of time here for Sussex. You know, it's a case of rebuilding, isn't it? And picking up the 1s and 2s, the occasional boundary, keeping you in the game.
He comes in now, Carlson, and flicked away by Burgess through mid-wicket for a single. So yes, it's that's 5 off the over with a wicket in there, and Sussex have reached the end of the 9th over on 67 for 4. Their run rate is 7.4, but they need to get up to nearly 14s from the here on in if they are to threaten that Glamorgan total of 219 for 5.
Yes, and at the same stage, Glamorgan were 93 for 1, and Duckworth Lewis, as Andrew has been talking about,
112.
112. So it shows how far Sussex are behind. However, if you're looking for crumbs of comfort, it is a relatively short leg side boundary. Sussex have still got Coles, Hudson Prentice, Nathan McAndrew, all of whom can hit the ball. It's not all lost, but it needs someone to play a really big innings here. So Sodia in, bowls to Burgess, who's hit on the pad, maybe a bit of inside edge on that because the bowler didn't appeal. The ball dribbles out on the onside.
Yeah,
to the total.
No leg by signalled, so it must have taken something on the way through.
If you're joining us for the first time this afternoon, a very good afternoon. Adrian Harms, Andrew Rayburn here, BBC Radio Sussex Live Cricket on the most glorious afternoon at Hove as Sodia is in, bowls down the leg side and also carves that away to deepish mid-wicket, picks up a single as Tom Allsop. Sussex leading 220 to win after Glamorgan made 219 for 5. At the moment, Sussex behind the 8 ball, they're 69 for 4. So Sodia in again, bowls, and Burgess plays this to short extra cover. There is no run fielded there by the Glamorgan skipper, Kieran Carlson. Sodia in his 3rd over, his previous 2 just cost the 16. He's in again and bowls, and Burgess, well, he was caught in 2 minds there. I think he was thinking of driving the ball through the offside. In the end, checked his shot. Very good over. He's doesn't give the batsman much time either. He's back in again, bowls to Burgess, and Burgess this time strokes that down the ground. Too long off, fielded by McElroy. It's just a single to Michael Burgess. He goes to 4, the total to 70 for 4.
Yeah, he's in a good rhythm, Sodia. He's bowling both the same side of the wicket to both the left-hander and the right-hander, and I think that's probably just as much to give himself just that rhythm.
Sodia in again, bowls, also drives out to long on, but there won't be 2 here. McElroy's very quickly in his net. Oh, in fact, there's a misfield. Allsop does come back. Burgess will need to get a move on, and he does. So they do come back for the second run. A misfield out here at long on. But a fine over from Sodia just cost him 5 runs. So at the halfway point, Sussex under a good deal of pressure here. They still need another 120 to win, and they need to score, in fact it's more than that, 148 to win, I'm sorry, in 10 overs. As Andrew was saying, it's nearly 15 and over they need to score at, which is a tall order, to put it mildly.
Yeah, well, it's double what they've got at the moment. The run rate 7.2, the required 14.8. So there is going to need to be some 6 hitting soon as Hatsoglu comes on to bowl from the Cromwell Road end.
Yeah. He's going to need some lusty blows, there's no question of that, Andrew.
It's organising the field at the moment, Glamorgan. That's why the music is still going on. Leg spinner, Hatzoglu. Tosses the ball from one hand to the other as he comes in now and bowls, and a short one which is helped around the corner by Burgess through square leg for 4 runs. And that was really a rather loose,
that was a loose
one from a bit of buffet bowling from Hatzoglu.
It was, loosener, wasn't it, Andrew? I think at this standard you can't really afford a loosener, and that was a shocker, wasn't it? Down the leg side, and Michael Burgess, really help yourself.
He's a tall man, Hatzoglu.
He's very busy in his action.
He is very busy in his action as he comes in now and bowls. It's sort of, but it plays out in the offside now for a single. It's sort of, yes, it's much more busy than sort of an Adil Rashid.
Yes. At the start of his run, he sort of juggles the ball. He's a tall man, isn't he?
He is. He's he's almost, I think he's about 6'5".
Right. He looks all of that, doesn't he?
Peter Hatzoglu. He's played for Perth Scorchers and the Melbourne Renegades, as well as the Oval Invincibles in the 100. Hatzoglu comes in now and it's cut away by Allsop, but only for a single. I was going to say only for a dot ball, but it's actually been misfielded, and it's going to be a single after all. Poor
by Douthwaite, wasn't he? Hold his arm up as if I'm sorry about that. It was a routine stop. Just those sort of little things that can creep into a fielding side, maybe a bit of overconfidence, and maybe Michael Burgess can get tucked into the Glamorgan bowling here.
Hatzoglu comes in and bowls that short, and Burgess helps that round down through fine leg for 4 runs. So yes, boundary for Burgess. That's got the crowd very excited.
Yeah, well, 9 off the over. 10 off the over. You're right.
They're going to need a few more of those.
Well, Sussex need this to go on pretty much until the end of the innings now to have any chance at all. But you can only take an over at a time. If Burgess can, and also can just keep Sussex in the game.
Then the bowling side starts to make sort of fielding changes, don't they? Which can also help you out a little bit. Hatzoglu comes in and bowls. They cut this time.
Shot.
There's a good shot for Burgess. That's going to be 4 more, through backward point.
Good shot, 3 boundaries.
And that was timed so well that it beat the infield and just about had enough on it to beat the fielder on the fence as well. And that's those beautifully timed shots that threaded past 2 fielders. You see on the Sky coverage, don't you, where you see the cone, the arcs that you've got in between the fielders to try and find the gaps, and that was perfectly threaded. And this one is defended well by Burgess. It's a much better ball from Hatzoglu, but a good over for Sussex. Most productive one so far, I'd wager, Adrian. 14 from it. There was,
need a bit more of that, but that was good stuff.
Well, it was 14.8 at the start, the required run rate, and despite that over, it's gone up to 14.9.
Yes.
And that tells you the task they have ahead of them.
Indeed. I just look at Hatzoglu, the way he approaches it, it's quite off-putting, isn't it? I was watching him.
You're already commentating.
Well, he juggles the ball, he's sort of moving his body around. If you're facing that, that is a bit off-putting, Anyway. Sussex, who's bowled very well, 3 overs, 0 for 21, comes in and bowls to Allsop. Allsop pulls away onto the leg side. They're going to take one. There might be 2 here if they get a move. Oh, and a misfield. Well, that's the second misfield. Well, and that's the skipper as well, I think. No, it was Billy Root out there with the misfield. So 4 more to Tom Allsop. Well, it should have just been the single. These little things can all add up, misfield in the previous over, a misfield there.
I'm not getting over excited.
No, I'm not, but you have to hang on to every bit you can. Here comes Sussex, bowls. Also down the wicket, drives, is he going to be caught? No, it's gone for 6 runs. Terrific strike by Tom Allsop. Belts the ball down the ground, over long on. I'm not sure that Hatzoglu was actually on the rope. Is that Callum Taylor down here?
He's furious.
Is
Callum Taylor. He properly thought that was catchable, I think.
Yeah. 6 to 0. I thought he was going to be out. 10 off the first 2 balls. Cecilia in again. Allsop plays this back down the ground, and Michael Burgess scurries back into his crease. Yeah, I'm not sure Cecilia was actually on that Hatzoglu was actually on the boundary there.
That might be why Taylor wasn't happy, because he certainly is on the boundary rope right now. In fact, he's standing on it.
Cecilia in again, bowls. Allsop drives. That time a good bit of bowling by. So he's a fine bowler, he's been hit for a 4 and a 6, then you respond with 2 dot balls. That's
very good.
That's quality bowling.
And that one was a sort of a flatter, fuller one outside off stump.
Cecilia in again, bowls. And Tom also works us onto the onside. They've taken one. They'll think about two. Burgess is quick between the sticks. He'll need to be really quick as the throw comes in. Well run, Michael Burgess. He was running to the danger end. 12 off the over. All Sussex can do here is keep chipping away.
I'm not telling tales out of school here, but Taylor is constantly glancing over at Hadzoglu.
He is. He's not happy with him, is he? So your last ball of his spell. Hidden bowls and also again places onto the onside. They'll look for two here again. You know, the ball is played onto the onside and it's a half century for Tom Alsop. And that's a very fine innings by Tom Alsop. Brilliantly played. He made a half century at the Oval last week. His 50 coming in just 33 balls. It's been a fine innings by Tom Alsop. 1-6 and 5 fours. And all the time he's there, Sussex have got a chance. At the end of the over, Sussex are 99 for 4 at the end of the 12th over. And there were 13 off of that over and 15 off the previous over. At the same stage, Glamorgan were 110 for 2. So the difference, not so much, but this is where Glamorgan really stepped on the pedal.
So we're going to see Hadzoglu come in and bowl, and it's pushed out to the leg side. No run, good diving stop from the bowler off his own bowling. Now, I have to say, Adrian, that's the third Sussex batsman now you said that their innings might be crucial, and the other two have got out soon after. So let's...
Thanks, Andrew. I get used to sort of hanging on to any sort of lifeline there is, really.
As Hadzoglu comes in and bowls from the Cromwell Road end, it's Alsop playing that up to the long on boundary. They're going to get a single, only a single. Mind you, they thought there was going to be overthrows for a moment there. There was a poor throw which went under the hands of the bowler, Hadzoglu, but it was well backed up, and that's why you do it. Kids out there, that's why you back up. In fact, there was overthrows in the Test match the other day. Which was poor from an England perspective. Hadzoglu, dot and a 1 so far at the start of this over. Comes in now and bowls to the right-handed Burgess, who Burgess clears it through the mid-wicket boundary. And Sussex, who went to 100 with the previous single, have now gone to 104 for 1. And
good shot, wasn't it?
21 now from 12.
Got what it deserved, to be fair, Andrew.
It really did. As Hadzoglu comes in again and bowls, and this time it's edgy.
4 more.
Down through the vacant slip area for 4 more. Well, this needed to start earlier, Adrian, with fewer wickets lost.
Yeah.
It may be too little too late from a Sussex perspective, but you can just start to see some Glamorgan faces a little anxious.
Hadzoglu expensive here, you know, Andrew, and I see Colin Ingram is coming up from out on the cover boundary to have a quick word with him.
That one wasn't a bad ball. It turned and it got the edge, but it's enough for it to race away for 4. Burgess on 25 from 13. He tosses the ball from one hand to the other, Hadzoglu, as he comes in now and bowls all arms and legs, and it's played up to... It's a good ball, that one. Played up to back towards him.
I think is that the... No, it's not the 50 partnership. 62 for 4 was when the last wicket went down. Sorry.
So,
I made a note of it. Good partnership, though.
46. Stand at the moment as Hadzoglu comes in and bowls, swung away by Burgess. That's only going to be to the fielder on the fence. They'll get a single, and there's some ironic cheers going on in that stand because it was over there, wasn't it, where the misfield was for 4. So at the end of that over, the 13th over, Sussex Sharks are 109 for 4, so they still need... We've been sort of been amazed at some of the boundaries they've been hitting in the last 2 or 3 overs, but they still need 111 runs from the final 7 overs. That run rate has crept up now towards 16.
Yeah, at the same stage, just by way of comparison, Glamorgan were 117 for 2, but this is really where Chris Cook really got tucked into the bowling. So, you know, it's still possible for Sussex, but you know, when you say 16 and over, you're suddenly thinking crumbs. That's a lot of runs, and you've got to hit that. You know, even in a poor over, you've got to be picking up 10, Andrew, just to keep yourself. You know, because once it gets up to 18, 19 and over, I think it's virtually impossible.
It's 2 or 3 boundaries,
yes, it is.
and over minimum, and also you then want to work out how many you want to leave yourself in the final 2 overs.
Yeah.
If you're happy to try and hit 30, 35 off the final 2, so be it. But you need to get to that stage first.
Yeah. Michael Burgess just might fancy this lakeside boundary off of Douthwaite. He's medium pace.
There's a man out in deep mid-wicket.
Yeah. Douthwaite comes in, and in fact Michael Burgess wasn't ready as Douthwaite was halfway to the wicket and Burgess pulled out. So live cricket here on the BBC. Hope you're enjoying our coverage wherever you're listening from. You may be watching via the Sussex live stream. If you are, a very good afternoon. Really big crowd here at Hove this afternoon. Glorious weather. And Sussex looking to take this as deep as they can. Off Glamorgan made 219 for 5. In comes Douthwaite to bowl to Michael Burgess. He's in and bowls, and Burgess is going to get... Is he going to be caught? No, the ball dropped short of the fielder down at third man. He was looking for that leg side boundary, Andrew. He got a big thick outside edge. The ball ballooned down to third man. Rather got away with that, Michael Burgess. Nonetheless, he goes to 27, the total to 110 for 4.
Yeah, for Burgess, it's... and I know they're going to have the same for the left-handed also, but it's a 6-3 field. 3 on the leg side, 6 on the off. I'm just going to see if that's matched up, reflected.
Douthwaite coming around the wicket now to Tom Alsop. He's batted beautifully. He's in and bowls, and Alsop drives down the ground. It's only be a single though. Got a bit of bowling by Douthwaite, bowling to his field. He's got McElroy down here at long on. Prevents anything more than a single. But he does get Burgess back on strike, and I'm sure Michael Burgess will be eyeing up this shortish leg side boundary. It seems a logical thing to do.
Yeah, there's one extra fielder for Alsop on the leg side, quite interestingly.
In comes Douthwaite again, bowls, and Michael Burgess does look for that leg side field, but it's a full toss, and not much that Burgess can do about that apart from get it down to long on where it's fielded by Callum Taylor. So 3 singles off the first 3 balls of the over. Sussex need a boundary here.
They really do. They need a boundary or 2 in these next 3 balls.
Back around the wicket comes Douthwaite, bowls to Tom Alsop, and it's just going to be a single play to short extra cover. Carlson gets in the throw, and it could be an overthrow here. What happened was Tom Alsop had got a long way past the crease. Now the throw comes in from the other side of the wicket, and that almost goes... Real comedy of errors. It was a bit like village cricket, wasn't it? Throw going all the way past, backed up, then another throw coming in, not backed up, but Tom Alsop had run through the crease. By the time he turned around, I think Michael Burgess correctly said, no, let's not take a risk. But Sussex do need a boundary here. 4 off the over so far. That run rate...
Glamorgan were desperate to give it to them as well.
The run rate is up to nearly 17 and over. Douthwaite jogs up to the wicket, bowls, and hammered away. He's going to be caught. He's going to be caught at extra cover. The skipper underneath it. Carlson takes the catch. Has he put it down?
I think he has he? No, Sussex were running. Yes,
he's put it down. Well, that's extraordinary.
Taylor was celebrating in front of us. They all ran in.
What an extraordinary drop. Well, I think that's the skipper. Well, Michael Burgess, I think, had virtually given that up. I mean, it was play to extra cover. I thought the catch had been... it's a no ball. It's a no ball, that's the reason, and a free hit.
But did he drop it anyway?
No, I don't think he did, but it's a free hit. So 2 to Burgess and a free hit. Now, if this goes for 6, this will be good. Comes in, and it does go for...
No, it's going to be
caught at long on, except he won't be caught. He tries it as far. So Callum Taylor drops it. He's saying the ball was spinning in the air. So just to recap,
I don't know what's gone on in the last ball or
Kieran
2.
Carlson took a catch. We thought Michael Burgess was gone, but it was a no ball and a free hit. Off the free hit, Michael Burgess hits it down the ground. Callum Taylor drops it, but it's 2 more. The total is 119 for 4. As in comes Douthwaite. Bowles will be asking questions later as Burgess hits this one down to wide, his third man. They've taken 1. Misfield, they're going to come back for a second. Burgess will need to get his skates on. Throw comes in, and Michael Burgess gets 2. That was helter-skelter cricket. Let's try and see what the score is. 121 for 4.
Is it still Sunday?
Oh, crumbs. That was frenetic, wasn't it? Alsop 53, Burgess 34, 121 for 4. Sussex still need 99 to win, and they need to score at, is that 16 and a half and over?
I mean, and what with the overthrows possibly on both sides.
Yeah, that was mad.
That's one of the weirdest 3 balls I think I've ever seen.
Well, it was probably dreadful commentating because I didn't know what was going on. Probably the listeners are thinking, what on earth is going on? Anyway, 13 off the over, 6 to go, Andrew.
And Hatzoglu is going to bowl through here. It's his 0 for 24 so far. It's his 4th over, isn't it, I think?
It is his 3rd over, 2 overs for 24. I'm quite surprised he's bowling.
Hatzoglu comes in and bowls now, and it's a full toss, and it's been sent out to the rider on the leg side boundary. Taking a single. Yeah, that could have gone into the houses.
Probably should have done. Oh, Tom Alsop, he's ruining that, isn't he?
There are a couple of people out on the balconies away behind the ground, enjoying what they can see of the cricket. As Hatzoglu comes in now and bowls to Burgess, and Burgess tries to sweep, doesn't really get hold of it, and I think it was a reverse sweep, and
that goes for 4, Andrew. It looks a great shot, doesn't it?
Yeah.
But when it's a dot ball, you don't look quite as good.
Now Hatzoglu again spinning the ball from hand to hand as he comes in now and bowls, and it's been hit now down through long off. Is that going to be 4 more? It is. Yes, good shot from Burgess, nicely timed, and they needed that, Sussex. Again, it feels like it's too little too late, that they've just given themselves too much to do with the bat because of all the wides and the no balls and the extra deliveries and the extra man they had to have up inside the circle for the last 8 balls. If they get to 170, 180 from here, they're doing quite well. And it's been dropped short this time, and Burgess has swung that away. He's going to be caught, though, is he? No,
he's just bounced in front of Billy.
Sorry, that is those 2 panes of glass that means I can't really see.
No. And I can vouch for you, Andrew.
I'm craning my neck round now to see it properly. But you can sort of see through it, but you do end up seeing 2 of everyone because they're at divergent angles, these 2 panes of glass that I'm trying to look through. As Hatzoglu comes in and bowls. This time that's hung high up in the air. And underneath the catch. And
he's put it down.
You can hear the crowd celebrating. That's 2 more for Sussex.
He's hurt his finger, I think, as well. He's making he's gesturing towards the.
Yeah, he wants somebody.
I think Tom Alsop is saying, "Can someone come on quickly?" I think the fielder there has hurt himself.
He's dived forward. I can't see who it is from this distance. He's dived forward. I think he's jammed. What's happened is, he didn't get to the ball quickly enough. He wasn't underneath the catch, was he? I don't think.
No.
And he's had to sort of come forward slightly, and he's got the ball jammed. He's got his finger jammed between the ball and the ground.
Oh, that's the dislocated finger, I think. Oh, please go off and have it put back in.
Well, there'll be a brief.
Well, they've already got 1 12th man on after Eddie Byron went off, and this is another injury. Now, I'm not sure who that is going off. I can only assume that he's put a finger out there, the fielder. He came racing in. Was that Taylor, the substitute fielder? But he immediately signalled, didn't he? I'm afraid I'm a bit squeamish.
Do you know what? I think it could be.
It could be Callum Taylor.
I think it could be the 12th man who's having to go off, which is rather like a substitute getting substituted.
I can't see. It's so far away we need a pair of binoculars, don't we? I think I should add that to my broadcasting equipment pack. Perhaps someone would like to buy me a pair of nice binoculars. Binoculars aren't easy though when you wear glasses, are they?
No.
They're really difficult. Anyway.
So we're back underway with the fielder off now. I'm not sure we've got an extra man on. We must have somewhere. As Hatzoglu comes in and bowls, that one is clubbed into the offside, not timed at all. It's off the bottom of the end of the bat, really, and it's got brought a single for Alsop. It means for Burgess that it was Alsop, wasn't it?
It was Alsop, so he must have come back for 2 there, Tom Alsop.
Yeah, from the.
So surely Alsop goes to 58, does he?
Yeah, I think the scoreboard was wrong because. I'm not sure. Anyway, it's definitely Alsop who's.
Yeah, so I think he was dropped, therefore on 54, because he came back for a second run and now he's taken a single.
Yes.
So 130 for 4. So off of that over, Andrew, there were 9.
This won't win a Sony award. This
no, it won't. It won't. And I apologise if you're trying, but there's so much happening here, and so difficult to ascertain what exactly is happening. We've got players leaving the field. We've got overthrows. We've got free hits. What we do know is categorically. Let's start again. 130 for 4 are Sussex. They need another 90 to win. They need to score at 18 and over. That's the most important statistic. And Smith is back into the attack from the C end of the ground, running around the wicket, bowls to Alsop, and also drills that down the ground. It's just going to be a single, though.
It's Carlson, you know, who's gone off.
Is it? That's the skipper. Okay, well spotted, Andrew.
Beg your pardon.
Yes, Callum Taylor is on. He's down below us, so the skipper has gone off.
Carlson wearing 5 and Taylor wearing 4, which is what's thrown me.
Now, this is a big over, Andrew, because Michael Burgess hitting here towards the leg side. Smith has already gone for 23 in his 2 overs. He's been by far the most expensive.
Fancy Burgess in his leg.
I do fancy Burgess in this, and he's going to have to go for it sooner or later. You can't leave it much longer. Michael Burgess on 39. In comes Smith, bowls to Burgess, and that's wide outside the off stump, and it is given as a wide. There we are.
Oh, now Smith is not happy at all.
No, he's not happy. He just waited, umpire Debenham, didn't he? Oh, he's not now.
There's some dissent.
Yes, there is some dissent. That's not good.
I mean, it's not. It's not very. Oh, now he's going back to the umpire. It was the umpire calling him over.
Yeah.
Smith. I mean, we'll describe this better. Burgess has reached for it, and Debenham did think about it for a little while, then gave the wide, but Burgess had stared at him first. So
in comes Smith, bowls, and Burgess drills that away into the offside. He's bowling a tight line here, is Smith, because he'll be aware that Burgess is looking to club him away on the leg side. It's just a single. Glamorgan will be quite happy about that. Just to concede the singles. Total goes to 133 for 4. Sussex needing another 87 to win. But they've only got 4 overs left after this one. Someone is having to play an innings of, well, the run rate is now up to 18 and a half and over. Sussex need to clear the ropes and some. Smith in bowls. Alsop is bowled! And a very fine innings from Tom Alsop comes to an end, and you have to say it's a good bit of bowling by Smith, right up in the block hole. Tom Alsop looking to drive the ball away through the offside. He's bowled. Alsop goes for 58, but it's not the end of the story for Sussex. I wonder whether Nathan McAndrew might be the next man to come in. A right-hander, he's a big hitter, Nathan McAndrew, but another very good innings by Tom Alsop, and a partnership between the pair that has given Sussex just the faintest outside hope, and a partnership of, let's work this out, 38 plus 33, come on, age 71, I think, between the pair.
It's going to be James Coles to come out.
Is it? Okay, I thought it might be Nathan McAndrew to give it some. It is going to be James Coles, you're quite right. It was one of his favourite shots, I have to say, he's through that. But I just see this is the side where the right-handers can score quickly, isn't it?
On the leg side,
yes.
Yeah.
But it's a tall order. It really is now.
It's anywhere and anywhere, everywhere and anywhere, really. Oh, now Rodri Smith is still talking to the umpire.
He is,
and he's not happy about the wide that was given earlier in the piece. Well, that's gone. But he's had several chats now with the umpire.
Right.
I don't think it's going to come down to that wide, but even if it does, I'm not sure that's necessarily what we want to see.
So, Smith coming from the C end to bowl to James Coles in and bowls, and Coles, it starts off with a boundary. Nice job by James Coles. Not the best delivery by Smith, it has to be said, but it was a full toss, and Coles just stood up and belted the ball through extra cover for 4 runs. That was a nice ball to receive first up, and James Coles is on his way. So that's a nice shot.
Arguably, it's what Ravi Opara should have done with his full toss.
Yeah, so we're pulling it down long on the throat. So Coles with a boundary. 19 and over is what Sussex need. Smith again, into bowls, and Coles hammers this one away down the ground. 2 long off, they've taken 1. There won't be any more than that. And it's fielded down long off. 1 more to James Coles, run right up to 19.7. But, you know, if you get an over with a couple of free hits, you never know. You do see these overs in T20 going for 25, 30. It's Sussex. Oh, we just
need one of those.
We do need one of those. Michael Burgess on 40. It's been a good knock by Burgess. Smith around the wicket bowls. Burgess plays the ball down the ground. It's all the way along the floor, but only as far as Callum Taylor at long on. It's another single, and Smith will be quite happy about that. It is the end of the over. So 139 for 5 are Sussex at the end of the 16th over. Michael Burgess is on 41. James Coles is on 5. Sussex need another 81 to win. They need to score at 20 and over if they're going to win this game. Highly unlikely, but you never know. A good day for someone to make a name for themselves.
Yep, and it's either got to be Michael Burgess, who's on 41 from 25, or James Coles, who scored 5 from his first 2 deliveries. And if they were batting first, Sussex, you'd say they're on course for what would be probably a par score on this pitch, on this surface. Yeah, at the moment they are well short, obviously, of the targets. But 139 for 5 with 4 overs, you go, well, stick another 40 on that, get it up to 180. It's something to defend, isn't it, 180? But when you're chasing 220, very, very difficult indeed. As McIlroy now comes in and bowls, and a rather sort of overhead smash shot from, curiously, from Michael Burgess, who's managed to get that away to square leg somehow, and it's going to be a single.
And the run rate, Andrew, goes up every baller. It's very good here at Hove, and it shows the run rate required has gone up by 0.8 with that ball, so we're up to 20.9 and over.
It's when you get down to these fine margins towards the end of the game that rate really increases. But it also becomes irrelevant in the final couple of overs anyway. And now this one's clipped away by Burgess. He's going to be caught. He's dropped it. Well, that's another drop from Glamorgan. This one was a difficult one. It was dipping low on the fielder, but he looked to have had it.
Billy Root again.
Squirmed underneath him. And Billy Root, well,
they have dropped a few here, Glamorgan, haven't they?
It's been misfields. It's been untidy, and they're still going to win by a fair margin.
Yes, they are, yeah.
Sussex's no balls and wides were the problem.
Oh, they were, Andrew, definitely.
As McIlroy now comes in to bowl to James Coles. Coles tried to swing that away, didn't really get anything on it. He's going to get a single down through square leg, backward square leg. It's going to be a leg by, and Sussex move on to 143 for 5. Needing this sort of improbable, almost mythical 220 to win.
22 and over now it's up to, Andrew.
Duckworth, Lewis, Stern, par at this stage, 180, so they're something like 40 runs light here as McIlroy comes in and bowls, clubbed out by Burgess into the leg side. They're going to have to come back for 2, whether they like it or not. They're going to need to get a move on at the other end. The throw has missed the bowler and the stumps, and they've got 2. 9 came in, and Burgess moves on to 44. Sussex Sharks to 145 for 5.
And the runs required, even though they've taken 2 off, that ball goes up by half a run, so now doing 22 and a half. Sussex have got to hit some. It's very difficult, isn't it? And Burgess hitting towards the long side of the ground here.
As McIlroy now comes in and bowls, and a little sort of reverse sweep, and he's got a single, even though it's gone straight to the man at backward square leg.
A bit of fielding that, was it? Because there was no one behind him. I think that's another substitute fielder, actually. Because the skipper is off.
Yes, I'll identify them as we see Coles get a full toss, and he's going to spoon it straight to the man at mid-off, and he's out. So that's the end of James Coles' brief cameo. 7 runs from 5 balls, and Sussex lose their 6th wicket with a score on 146, and it's looking like, very much like, 4 defeats in 5 at the start of the T20 blast.
Yes, I'm afraid it is.
Zainul Hassan, who was the man left out of the starting lineup, is the substitute fielder, by the way.
Thank you. The new man coming in now, is this Nathan McCandrew or is this Finn Hudson-Prentice? It is, I think it is Nathan McCandrew. Yes, it is. He's making his way out.
Wearing number 43.
And what Sussex have missed in, you can only play with the hand that you're dealt, really. But when you think of someone who was going to hit the ropes regularly, you think back to, a few seasons ago, well, even last season, Luke Wright in a situation like this, someone like a David Visa. Sussex, McAndrew might be that man. I mean, he's a big, tall man, isn't he? He hits the ball a long way, but Michael Burgess has struggled on here, but it's been desperately difficult. Runs required here. Sussex to score at 25 and over. 74 needed off the last, what's that, 169, 146 for 6.
So Douthwaite begins this new over.
Yeah, comes into bowl to Michael Burgess, who is going to be caught at long off. There we are, this catch is taken. And that really is going to be it for Sussex. Burgess goes for 45. He's caught at long off by... Is that another substitute fielder? Either way, he's caught at long off. And And Michael Burgess.
That's by Rory Smith, I think.
Thank you, it is Rory Smith. He's just turned around, number 20 on his hat.
Rodri Smith, beg your pardon.
So, straightforward catch. Burgess goes. It's been a good effort by Michael Burgess, coming in an almost impossible situation. He goes for 45, and the Sharks 146 for 7, and something that has looked improbable for some time. It almost looks like it's definitely going to happen as the new man comes out, who's Finn Hudson-Prentice. And as Andrew was saying, look like Sussex are slipping to their 4th defeat out of 5. And those 2 extra overs, you know, Andrew, you just can't afford to do that in T20 cricket. 13 extra deliveries.
And then the last 8 of those with an extra fielder up inside the circle.
Yes, indeed. Yeah, absolutely, because the over 8 becomes slower. Douthwaite coming into the new man, who is Finn Hudson-Prentice. In and bowls. Hudson-Prentice hammers all down the ground, and that's going to go for 6 runs. Lovely shot by Hudson-Prentice. First ball of the over, he just eases the ball straight back down the ground over the head of Smith on this occasion, who can't reach it. So 6 to Hudson-Prentice. That was beautifully timed. He made runs last night, Hudson-Prentice, actually. Nice little cameo from him of 31.
Well, he only needs to do that 10 more times, and we might have a game.
152 for 7. Actually, I'm not sure how many 6s Sussex have hit. That'd be an interesting stat. As in comes Douthwaite bowls, and Hudson-Prentice drives into extra cover, picks up a single. He goes to 7. So
that's the second one.
for 7. Right, and Glamorgan hit 11.
Tom Alsop hit the other 6.
Yeah. So Sussex just haven't cleared, and that's what we were saying about someone who can come in that middle order, a Cook or someone like that who can really take the bowling on. Sussex haven't quite had that today. McAndrew waits. And made that up to 28 and over. In comes Douthwaite bowls to McAndrew. Well, that's 6. Well, maybe he should have come in a bit earlier. I said he hits the ball a long way, and that's what was needed, maybe.
That's into the flats, I think.
I think he's hurt himself, you know. Maybe not. He just seemed to feel the inside of his groin as he hit that, Nathan McAndrew. He's not hurt. He pulled the ball away onto the leg side, so 2 6s in the over.
He's having a good chat with Hudson-Prentice down, but he seems to be okay enough.
Oh, let's hope so. It's just the way when he hit the ball, and he just sort of seemed to reach for his...
We haven't got the ball back yet.
He's stretching, Andrew. Yeah, I don't think he's entirely happy, you know. Let's hope it's just a little tweak or something, because the last thing Sussex need is for Nathan McAndrew, having had the concussion incident, to pick up a problem with another injury.
Perhaps these 2 should have opened.
Well, he does hit a long ball. I was a little surprised that he didn't come in ahead of James Coles, only in that he's got those big long levers and he hits the ball a long way. 159 for 7. Another couple of those would be nice, Nathan. Douthwaite waits. He'll need someone on. I think Glamorgan are waiting for the fielder to come back, actually. Or for the ball to come back.
No, we've got the ball. We're all okay.
Okay. Douthwaite. In again, bowls. And McAndrew with a swing and a miss outside the off stump. The ball goes through to keeper Cook, and there is no run. So, interesting over this. Wicket 6, single 6, dot. So 13 off the over. Sussex need 28 and over. That's going to need something quite remarkable.
They've hit 2 6s, and this is half as good as they need.
Yeah, 61 still needed to win. Douthwaite in bowls. Oh, McAndrew Philly should have hit that for 6. That was a full toss. He's played it down the ground. They're going to come back for the second. Good running by Hudson-Prentice. McAndrew is very quickly back to the far end of the ground. Well run by Hudson-Prentice. 2 more to McAndrew. He goes to 8. Sussex at the end of the over are 161 for 7. At the same stage, Glamorgan were 192 for 3. So they're sort of 30 runs ahead, and that's could be pretty much where it's going to finish, really. But you can't help but think, Andrew, those 13 extra... I know Glamorgan have bowled a number of wides. Actually, they bowled 4 and 2 no balls. So they bowled an extra over. But,
yeah, that's what you do with it, isn't it, as well? But
so what do we need here? Sussex need another 59 of 2 overs. They need to score 29 and a half and over. Nigh on impossible.
Well, I said, what would you like to leave yourself for the final 2 overs?
Yeah.
I'm not sure 59 was what they planned for.
I think you're right.
They are 20 or 30 runs short, aren't they, for this stage? As McElroy comes in and bowls, it's a full Yorker, which Hudson-Prentice digs out and gets a single. And we are just kind of ticking down towards closing of this match. 22 minutes past 5 in Hove on England's south coast. Sussex against Glamorgan. Sussex heading for their 4th defeat in 5 as McElroy comes in and bowls. That's short. It's been hooked up in the air by McAndrew. It's going to go for 6. It was top edged over sort of the fine leg region.
Good effort by Smith down below us, actually.
He almost took the catch, actually, but yeah, but it was over his head in the end.
Well, 2 sixes to Nathan McAndrew.
And what would be frustrating is if Sussex come up sort of 20 short, and then you go, well, then those extra balls in the Glamorgan over and the slow start they made as well, Sussex in the reply.
Yeah.
That's when you start to go, there are things we could have done. If you lose by 40 or 50, you go, well, you've just been outplayed.
Yes, agreed.
As McElroy comes in and bowls, that's a full toss. That's been swung out into the leg side.
Oh, dropped.
And dropped again. Is that Billy Root again?
Yeah, I think it is. They've dropped a lot of catches here, haven't they?
Well, it's a single. Doesn't help Sussex, but it just, every run now just sort of makes the margin of defeat a little bit less.
Yeah, and certainly in a comp, I mean, it may not even help Sussex, but the run rate may be something.
McElroy bowls full, dug out by Hudson Prentice. They're going to come back for a second here because it was bunted kind of into a vacant area and they could run 2. Ten off the over. 2 balls to come. And then
Is it now physically impossible? Yeah, 49 off 8.
yes, and now it is no ball or wide territory as McElroy comes in and bowls, and he's bowled as he tries to do a little sort of scoop. And Hudson Prentice is out for 10. Sussex are 171 for 8. McElroy has his 3rd wicket, 3 for 27. And to take you through the coup de grace, the closing stages of this Sussex innings, and to herald the Glamorgan victory is my colleague Adrian Holmes.
Is there one more ball to go this over, isn't it?
I thought that was the end of the over, but
I think there may be one more ball.
Okay, in which case I apologise profusely. I've got one more left.
Don't have to apologise at all. It's
I've got a bonus ball.
Tamel Mills.
We don't have the we don't have the.
He hits a long ball, you know, Tamel.
Yes, you do realise it is impossible. So.
I do. There might be a no ball and a free hit, and yeah, I mean, Glamorgan got too many runs, Andrew.
Sussex needs snookers if that's not.
Yes, they do. Yes, they do. 27 left on the table and 45 behind. That sort of thing. Need a couple of snookers behind the black or something, or that's what they need.
And McElroy now comes in to bowl to Timel Mills. It's full. Timel Mills drives and it's going to be fielded on the rope.
Well, fielded actually by North East.
It was actually. It came at him sharply.
It did.
Bounced a couple of times, but it really reared up on him on the second bounce, and that is the end of the over. 172 for 8. So Sussex will need 48 from the final over. Do you remember that World Cup game against South Africa where there was, before Duckworth Lewis was invented, when the rain came and they made a calculation and decided that South Africa needed 27 from the final ball?
Really?
It was 1992 World Cup, I think, and that's when it all changed and they had to invent some formula to make rain delays fairer. But yeah, South Africa came out to bat and they decided they'd need 27 from the last ball. That didn't really work.
Who's going to bowl this last over? Dan Douthwaite. It is academic because Sussex need 48 to win off the last.
To be fair, Adrian, I could bowl this last over and Sussex still wouldn't win.
I think you could, yeah. In comes Douthwaite, running in the bowls to McAndrew, to Tamel Mills, who plays on the leg side and picks up the single to Mills. He goes to 2 on 73 for 8. Thank you for listening to our coverage here on BBC Radio Sussex this afternoon. Adrian Harms and Andrew Rayburn bringing you the commentary from Hove. Big crowd. Ultimately, though, disappointment for Sussex again, who have gone down to will be going down to their 4th defeat in 5. Visit to Chelmsford on Tuesday, then Lords on Thursday to play Middlesex. Surrey here next on Friday, which is a sold-out game. In comes Douthwaite, bowls, and a play and a miss from McAndrew through to keeper Cook. And there is no run. And you would think for Sussex to stay in the competition, I mean, we'll go into a county championship match, then the second phase of the competition. Realistically, Sussex have got to win a couple of the games this week to keep themselves in with a chance.
They absolutely have.
Because there'll only be 6 games left when we come back for the resumption, and sometimes 7 will get you through, but Sussex up against it. In comes Douthwaite, bowls wide of the off stump. Is that going to be given as a wide? Yes, it is given as a wide. Not that it matters that much. McAndrew wanders away to square leg, but he'll know that the game is pretty much up. Yeah, so 3 more games this week, so that'll make Sussex 8 games. You just feel they need to win a couple of those. Middlesex having a shocking time, so that's 1 to win at Lords. In comes Douthwaite, bowls. McAndrew, 6-4.
That's huge.
Yeah, belted away over mid-wicket. Well, it does make you wonder if he should have come in a little earlier. I mean, he's certainly, as the overseas, he's certainly showing more form with the bat than Shadab Khan at the moment, who's really struggled. Shadab coming in at number 5, but he's really struggled, and I know that the pressure's off here and McAndrew's probably got nothing to lose, but nonetheless, he's come in and hit 3 sixes. He's
21
got 21 off 7. I mean, the statistics speak for themselves to a certain extent. Still 40 to win off
2 balls.
2 balls, which isn't going to happen. McAndrew waits. I mean, on the scorecard, anyone looking might think, oh, that's a good chase, but in reality, once Sussex had slipped to what were they, 62 for 4, it was always going to be an uphill battle. Douthwaite in bowls, 6-4. Thanks very much. There we go. So there we are, 4 sixes to Nathan McAndrew. Well, we did say perhaps he should have batted a little earlier. I mean, it's a poor delivery, but McAndrew's a big, strong man, and he just belts the ball away for 6.
And again, I mean, obviously Glamorgan made 219. Let's not shy away from that fact. But Sussex, if they were batting first, 186 for 8 with the last ball to come, you go, this is defendable. Yeah. But it has been the bowling, of course, that has been the problem, Riley, rather than the batting. And that wasn't the case against Essex when the bowling put themselves in a good position. But
27 off 8. Nathan McAndrew.
Can he finish it with another 6?
Final ball of the match. Comes Douthwaite to bowl to McAndrew. No, he doesn't. It was signalled a wide. Is it the ball? It was a wide earlier on. What was that?
Yes.
Yes, there was a wide earlier on. I do apologise. This is the last ball of the match coming up. Andrew practices his shot at the far end. He might fancy a 6 just to finish things off. 186 for 8. Douthwaite in again and bowls, and McAndrew hammers that one away to extra cover, picks up the single, throw comes in, misses, and that is the end of the match, and Sussex finish on 187 for 8.
Lost by 32 runs.
Let's wait for that to come from the scoreboard. Yes, 32 runs. Nathan McAndrew finishes not out on 28 of just 8 off of 10 deliveries. But in reality, Andrew, Glamorgan really comfortable winners. They'd have had to have bowled very badly from when they had Sussex 62 for 4. Difficult to pinpoint where it went wrong for Sussex today, really. Just didn't really bowl well enough. Glamorgan got off to a flyer. And ill-disciplined, really. 13 extra deliveries.
Yeah, looking at that Glamorgan card again, yeah, as you say, 8 no balls, so that's cost 16 runs. Another 4 no balls, costing 8 runs. Another 9 wides, so that's 17 runs, and then on top, and then obviously what it cost for those extra deliveries to be bowled. So you're probably looking at, that's the difference, Adrian, probably, because although it's 17